Feeding our futures went to the state and said, if you stop giving us this money, we're going to call you racist and we're going to sue you. And you don't want to be in the news. Now, here's what, and you say, well, why didn't the employees do something? They did. They told the people higher up, the people with the flags in their office. And you know what they did? Nothing. You know why? Well, here's what the legislative auditor in Minnesota said. He said that the threat of litigation and the negative press affected how the state politicians use their regulatory power. And here's what a fraud investigator in the Attorney General's office said. She said, there is a perception that, I'm quoting now, that forcefully tackling this issue would cause political backlash from the Somali community, which is a core voting bloc for Democrats. Feeding our futures went to the state and said,
voting block. So the Democrats decided not to do anything about all the fraud. Wow, how could they do that about all the fraud? Wow, what's up, everybody? Great to see you. I'm Jim. This is Jim Tells You, where I tell you some of the news that I find topical, that I think is important, that I think you should know about. I want to thank everybody who's here and welcome you all to the show. Especially, let's see, we got Brian Og. We got low watermarks. How can I be second if there was no first? That means I am second. And because you were disqualified, I am also first. Yay, baby. Because Brian Ogden says second. And then he goes, lol, I'm second. Iowa Backyard says, happy Tuesday. What's up? And do what David D does. Says, Stephen Hilliard's here, too. He says, top line chatters. And Aurora's here. What's Audra's here? Why do I say Aurora? Man, what is wrong with my brain? What's up, Mr. Dan? How you doing? The other Gax. Great to see everybody. Wow. That's pretty good. I like Mr. Kennedy. I think he has some very, very, very good points. And he likes to talk about some stuff. And as always, as usual, there's a goal. And I didn't start the damn goal, so I have to do it now. Wow, what is wrong with this guy named Jim? He's screwing up. He didn't do the goal tonight. He didn't set it up. But there's always a goal. Show runs about 2.5 hours unless we hit the goal. Which, as most people know, is for every $100 in total donations across all platforms that comes in, including Super Chats, Rumble Rants, PayPal, Cash App, Coffee, Ko-Fi, whatever you want to call it, memberships, gifted memberships, it all gets added up. And when we hit 100, we add an hour. There's also an added bonus of when we hit 50, we activate the Bellavision. All right? Unless, and of course, we hit an individual donation of $25 or greater. And then at that point, you guys get to see the dog. I do have a very special thing that I didn't have. I'm going to try to get it during the show. I'll try to set it up. I did have to clean Bella's ears today. Some people said they wanted to see a video. And so you see a video of Bella barking at me and running away. Me chasing her around the house for about 10 minutes. But I have a couple clips of it. So maybe I'll play those later if we get up to Bellavision's stuff. But anyway, let's get back to what we were talking about here. Let's get to some news, shall we? Some news. It's the news. It's the blues. It's the news. So let's see here. First thing I want to talk about is there's going to be a press conference, which I'm paying attention to, which we might watch live if it goes live while we're going. We'll see. There's supposed to be, oh, here he is. He is talking. So here, let's cut to this right now.
Years, planes would fly into places that have meetings that would last 2-3 days. All they talked about was the Golan Heights.
Well, so this started early. This was supposed to start at 9.
Nice place. I guess you've mostly been here, but you like it a lot better with Trump than you like it with Biden. That I can tell you. That's because you're smart. Well, I'm thrilled to welcome so many good friends to the White House as we celebrate the third night of Hanukkah.
Oh, I thought this was they said it was going to be something special. I thought this was going to be like an announcement or something.
Let me take
I didn't
a
know this was
moment
going to be
to send
a
the love
Hanukkah
and prayers to our entire nation,
thing.
to the people of Australia, and especially all those affected by the horrific and anti-Semitic terrorist attack, and that's exactly what it is, anti-Semitic, that took place on a Hanukkah celebration in Sydney. What a terrible, terrible thing. We don't learn. We're joined in mourning all of those who were killed, and we're praying for the swift recovery of the wounded. Some are very horrifically wounded, as you probably know. All nations must stand together against the evil forces of radical Islamic terrorism, and we're doing that. Joining us tonight, our Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick is doing a fantastic job. Representatives.
He starts tonight talking about Australia.
Oh, this is a guy that owns
Good luck with anybody
WABC
else in our
radio
government, starting with the Jewish
in New
people
York.
in Australia. Nobody
To be in the greatest country on the face of the earth, in the most beautiful building, and with the greatest president this world has ever seen.
Can see straight, so good. Thank you. Lost both of his parents in the camps, but refused to. It's crooked, corrupt, disgusting news, but we'll have to do with fake. But fake isn't strong enough. That's the only problem. It's actually, I wish I could come up with a word that's away from having a nuclear weapon. I officially recognize the true capital of Israel. But with Jared Kushner's help,
well,
Jared has been a great fan of
This
Israel.
I thought this was going to be a.
And by the way, how
Wednesday
good
is the
Steve
national
involved,
address.
right?
I thought it was tonight. This is live.
You
but
know, I
I
got
don't know.
Steve involved in Russia, Ukraine,
All right.
and
Well, I got I got screwed up. So let's get into some actual news. Wait. Oh, it's tomorrow. Okay. All right, it is tomorrow. My bad. So this is this is what I saw. I thought it was tonight for some reason. Sorry about that. I got it all. So nothing about Rob Reiner. No, this is so it's a hey, what's up, Catherine K? So I had it all screwed up. My apologies. I screwed it all up. I thought that was a live address, like there was something tonight. But so Trump announced primetime address tomorrow at 9 p.m. The president announced on Tuesday he plans to address the nation from the White House. The year-end remarks coming about 2 weeks before the new year are expected to focus on the administration's accomplishments. It's been a great year, so he's going to give an address. So we'll have to see what that's about tomorrow. Maybe we'll watch it tomorrow. White House Press Secretary Catherine Leavitt told reporters that it would be a victory lap for accomplishments. So we'll check it out. We'll see tomorrow, I guess. We all saw on True Social he's going to be giving an address to the nation. So we'll check that out. All right, we're going to jump into some news real quick here because I kind of screwed that up. I thought it was an important thing to get Trump's speech, but it wasn't a speech. It was just a Hanukkah. So we had an MIT professor was shot and killed in his Massachusetts home. Now, there's a reason I'm doing this first. We'll get to it. All right, MIT professor was shot in his Brookline, Massachusetts home Monday night. 47-year-old Nuno Laureiro, a nuclear science and engineering professor, was shot multiple times. He was transferred to Boston Hospital and died Tuesday morning. A neighbor told CBS News they heard 3 loud bangs Monday night. I thought at first somebody was in our apartment kicking in the door or something, so I called the neighbors and they thought that it was gunshots. Suspect's not in custody. All right. And the reason I'm doing this first is because this was the nuclear and physics department professor at MIT. Well, the shooting that happened at Brown was also the physics department. It was the study session. And it's been reported that this guy that was killed is also Jewish. The professor that was supposed to be at the thing in Brown was a Jewish person who wasn't there. And allegedly, we're going to get into who they're looking for a person. They have identified a person that they're looking for in the Brown shooting. And go figure, he's what's the correct word to use here? Jihadi aligned. You know, he's part of the, Palestinian whole crew stuff thing. So he was taken by ambulance to the hospital where he died, and it's an active, ongoing homicide investigation. So he was recently appointed the director of MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center. He was at the helm of one of MIT's largest labs, more than 250 full-time students. He's a theoretical physicist, and he joined MIT in 2016. Yeah, Troon Jihadi, that's right. But I'm wondering, they can't find the guy. I'm wondering if he went and killed this guy. That's when I'm making dots. I got string and I'm tying things together here. And I think it's kind of if not, it's a huge coincidence that another, physics thing just got hit, basically. So there's that. All right. And the post just says, MIT nuclear scientist shot dead in swanky Massachusetts neighborhood. Yeah, it's all sus, all of it. That's what I'm saying. This is really suspect to me. Like, professors don't get killed, So this is the guy that was killed. I mean, clearly he has a look to him, right? So a prominent nuclear science professor at MIT was shot and killed inside his swanky home. The police are mum about the details of the tragic slaying. Nuno Laureiro was found inside his Brookline home by police responding to reports of a man shot. So what you're saying, this is playback for blowing up Iran's nuclear location? I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the shooting at Brown, clearly they're not... Like they're trying to hide the fact that the guy yelled Allahu Akbar and then shot the people. And then there was the attack in Sydney. Then there was the attack in Germany that they thwarted. And then there was the attack that they thwarted, the bombs and stuff. What does it say? Loyal CG guy says, hail Frog Tony, buy his book. It will change lives. Well, I mean, I guess, sure, buy his book. Thank you for the $2, loyal CG guy. I buy a lot of CG books. I'm a fan of Comicsgate and everything they do. And with that $2, that actually brings our goal for the evening to $98 for the first extra hour and $48 for Bellavision. And thank you to all the Raiders who came over from Joe Good Logic. Hi, Raiders. You gave Joe a gentle reminder to raid you. Well, I appreciate it. I want to thank everybody who comes over. We're doing a talk tonight. We just started. Right now we're going over the shooting that happened at MIT. Another scientist, let's say, and it's strange because it's also the physics department, And my information says that this professor who was killed is also Jewish, along with the Jewish professor that was missing, that was supposed to be at the thing on Saturday at Brown, and the guy they're looking for. Like, I'm putting things together here, and I'm saying this might be the same guy that went and killed this professor. Like maybe this is a hit list or something happening here. So he was found in his home at 8:30 p.m. He was rushed to the hospital. He was pronounced dead. This is the professor that was killed. Monday night, they found him Tuesday morning or whatever. This is an active, ongoing homicide investigation. No further information is being released at this time. So, timeline showing movements of the Brown University mass shooting suspect. Is it really a mass shooting? Betting a professor is hiding Carbush? That's what I'm thinking. Because they obviously knew who it was. You know, maybe he went to MIT. It's not that far. It's an hour away. This is only an hour away from the other shooting. A grand jury has indicted John Bolton on 18 felony charges. A separate grand jury in Miami indicted Smartmatic for paying $1 million in bribes to win an election contract in the Philippines. Well, that's awesome news. A grand jury in Dallas indicted a cell of 11 Antifa members for attacking an ICE facility. Oh, that's great news. Thanks, Gundam Zig. Hey, Jody's here. Great to see you. Thanks for being here. So, Brookline Police Deputy Superintendent Paul Campbell told the news that the victim had been shot multiple times but wouldn't release further details. The death follows a mass shooting at Brown University just 50 miles away in which 2 students were killed. The suspect is still on the loose. Hint, hint. At a press briefing Tuesday, law enforcement officials said the 2 shootings were not connected. How do they know? How could they possibly know at this point the 2 shootings were not connected? Seems kind of odd, right? This time, there seems to be no connection as it related to the particular incident, says FBI agent in charge Ted Dox. Louriolo, a native of Portugal, was a member of the school's Department of Nuclear Science and Engineering and Physics, and a director of the MIT's Plasma Science and Fusion Center, one of the university's largest labs with more than 250 full-time researchers, the school spokesman says. And then a loyal CG guy comes in for another 2. CG accepts any race or gender. We are inclusive. I agree. I don't. What are you talking about? Thank you though. Let's thank you for the 2. With that, we are now at $96 away from our first extra hour and $46 away from Bellavision. And then Amazing Disgrace comes in for 5. When these events happen in groups, it looks more than suspicious. Yes, I can totally agree. It looks really suspicious to me. That's why I wanted to do this one first before we get into the Brown one, the developments on the Brown shooting. So with that, with that 5, we are now 91 away from our first additional hour, and 41 away from Bellavision. Bellavision. So thank you very much. And let's see who just showed up. We got, Karen O's here too. Gundam Zig, hey, how you doing? Mama Pillow's here, great to see you. Brian Ogden, great to see you. Life is Indifferent. Is it still just 25 for Bella? Yes, 25 for Bella. 25 for an instant Bella, or when we hit 50 in total donations, Bellavision gets activated. But thank you, Life is Indifferent. So we got that. Now we got this. This is the story of the guy who they're looking for. This is the everything appears to be that this is the guy that did the Brown shooting from the pictures, and they're scrubbing all his information off of the website. Jim loves us and the fat bacon dog. I do love my fat bacon dog. I do have a couple short videos of Bella that I'm going to try to play at some point tonight of me trying to clean her ears. Yes, thank you. So Queers for Palestine are being scrubbed from Brown University's web pages. Why? Did Brown University just scrub its entire website of Mustafa Carbush, Free Palestine LGBTQ activist? Sure looks like it. Here he is. Mustafa Carbush, Center for Middle East Studies, researcher apprentice spotlight, anthropology, Mustafa social cultural anthropology. Oh wow, look at this picture. Summer internship at the International Crisis Group. Now, this International Crisis Group in New York City is very interesting when you find out who's running that. It's very interesting. Very interesting. All right. Here's his picture. All right, this is him, or they, them. I think he's a they, them. Oh, rant. Oh, hey, what's up, Gilly? Just coming. I from Joe's. Well, thanks to be you. What's this? Zachary Page, mugshot worth it alone. Okay, I'll pull it up. How's Bella's ears? Well, I got him some, clean them. So let's see here. Hey, Bella, baby, what's up? Hey, what's up, Hottie? How you doing? Amazing Disgrace is her too. An activist scholarship for $300,000. Yeah, let's see what the rant was here. We do. Oh, look at that. We do have a rant tonight, and it's from Life is Indifferent for 25, and it says, "Here's my Christmas gift to the Jim Somniacs. Then Bella for all." Well, thank you. We will get Bella all fixed up here. We'll get the camera all fixed up for Bella. There we go. Now I can get this corrected. She's hanging off the bed, it seems. She's snoring. I don't know if you can hear her. But that 25 is the Bellavision. Wow. And so with that puts us now at, let's see here, get the banners. We'll take this down. So that 25 now puts us $66 away from the first additional hour of the show. Thank you very much. Oh, hey, Kevin's here too. What's up? I figured you had to be awake to beg for food. Well, she could do it any time. What's up, Saxon Brady? Great to see you. And then Low CG says, I think you're a very handsome man. Loyal CG guy. Well, thank you. Are you a guy? Because it says loyal CG guy, and you're telling me I'm a very handsome man. I think I'm being trolled now. But thank you for the $2. With that, then that's now $64 away from the first additional hour of the show. So thank you. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Oh, and then Amazing Disgrace says the Hassan fiasco has made me think, have a limit to not shock Bella money. No, I know. Thank you. Thank you very much for the $5. And with that, I now are $59 away from the first additional hour. Thank you very much. And then let's see here. Oh, Jerry Sanders comes in and says, sexy fucker. Ha, ha, ha. Exceptional dog. Yeah. Well, I agree. I know I am. Oh, and now look at this. We got 5 gifted memberships from Kofi Toupee. Thank you very much, Kofi. That's awesome. Let's see who got those. We got Super Iron Bob got a gifted membership. Rhett Bud received a gifted membership. Patty Blisma. Bilsma. Let's see. OTG 101NZ and Sensational Shoutout received a gifted membership. Well, thank you so much. With that, we are now $29 away from the first additional hour. Thank you very much for that. And then we got another super chat here from Loyal CG Guys that says, I am a young homosexual man. Well, congratulations to you. You know, it's at 200, Bella's massage bed gets cranked up. Yes, it does. Well, thank you so much for the $2. Well, good. Okay. I don't know an answer for that. I don't have a response. You know, I have no problem with homosexuals. I just do what you want. It's not my business. Adults can do whatever they want as far as I'm concerned. Oh, I'm very curious on everybody's opinion on not extending the Affordable Care Act. My opinion is that they purposely made something that they knew sucked and that was going to end up spending more and more money because they eventually want to just take over and have everyone just get government health care that they can control and ration and everything. So rates have been increasing. You know, the Affordable Care Act, as they call it, didn't do anything to make it affordable. rates have continued to skyrocket, at a faster pace since they passed that law. And they purposely made it expire this year purposely. They could have made it permanent if they wanted, but they didn't because they knew that it would affect things. So that's all. And at some point, it's got to stop. You can't just keep giving free money. So let's get back to this. So this is the guy that they're looking for. All right. And let's see what else we got here. And this is just breaking news. A groundbreaking new study finds that Islamophobia may be partially caused by Muslims killing people all the time. What do you think? I don't know. It's possible. And then, so this is the person. He's he, Mustafa Karbouche, Brown University, former UN advocacy researcher and at Crisis Group. Brown University is mass deleting a series of celebratory articles on its website relating to Mustafa Karbouche, a foreign-born Palestinian student in its Middle East Studies department. He's participated in the Hamas encampments at Brown and wrote an article declaring the need for a rebellion against the U.S. and Israel. Someone has also deleted his X account. Mustafa is clearly a bad ideological actor, but there are no reports thus far that he's been implicated in the incident at Brown, though the consequential timing is certainly worth keeping an eye on. Well, my friend said they had charged $16K for an MRI. It's ridiculous. They look, good logic, rated to stream. That's it. And the ACA will go till next election by design. Yeah, that's what they're going to do. Video of the Brown shooter waltzing by, the PD and EMTs responding. A local business said it was 4 days for cops to come ask for security videos. Yeah, it sure seems like, and I think personally, and the Amazing Disgrace says that he believes subsidized insurance only made it more expensive. I think people are covering up for this guy. Gate analysis shows Mustafa is the shooter. This is the same technique used by the CCP on all their citizens, so it works. Nate Friedman just did a good interview with Tommy Robinson about what's going on in the UK. Oh, that's good. Multitasking sub-savages, that's great. So just keep an eye on this. But I'm let's see. I know I have it here somewhere. Let me find it. We don't want to see this yet. Multiple people at Brown are lying about not recognizing the shooter. Cernovich says it's looking like a cover-up. Yeah, here's a terror supporting Filth at Brown, 6 days. This is another associate professor at Brown supporting jihad. And then here's they're all locking down their tweets. This is another person, a professor of history at Brown. They're all up to something. But and here's, if you look at this guy's, Brown University appears to be quietly wiping all traces of Mustafa Karbouche. The Brown University takes the student's profile as a search for suspect, takes down his profile as a search for suspect intensifies. Who is he and why is he being linked to the Brown shooting suspect? Who is this guy at the center of the social media speculation? What do we know about the shooting suspect? FBI receives images of the guy. I mean, I would bet money on it. It's him. Do the MIT professor shooting and the Brown shooting have any connection? But that group, that Crisis, what was that called? The Crisis. Let's see what that was again. International Crisis Group. Let's see what the International Crisis Group is. All right, just for So this is the, what's this? Amazing Disgrace comes in with another 5. Says, I hear rumblings of Europe preparing for war with Russia, a great replacement on steroids. Well, that would be a big replacement of a lot of people, So now we are $22 away from the first additional hour of the show. Walking posture, subject strides. Yeah. So what this is, I wanted to show you. This is this group that he went and did an internship with. All right. But I want to find the. Let's see here. Where are we going to go here? About us. Who we are. Let's look at the board. Board of Trustees. Susanna Marcoa, Frank Giostri, trustees is Fola Adola, Gerard Arad, Built. Let's see, Shrani Shamata. Come on, I know you're on here. Where are you? Where is it at? I know that the Soroses are on here. Oh, George Mitchell and Thomas Pickering. Gareth Evans. Wait a minute. I know I saw it and it was tied to Soros. So this is making me feel bad now. There it is. Alexander Soros, 30 years ago. Where is it? Why is it coming up? International Crisis Groups. Founded in 1995. It's an independent nonprofit. It's funded by George Soros' Open Society Institute. All right. Maybe that's what I saw. I don't know. Anyway, I'm getting far afield here. Several media outlets reportedly quoted their subsidies would dry up. I scrolled past it. You passed Soros? I did? Oh. Did I really? I passed it? Oh. It just says right here, George Soros, founder of Open Society Institute. So among ICG's senior advisors is the guy from Democratic Socialists of America, a guy worked for Fidel Castro's regime and Che Guevara, a Marxist-Leninist president of Mozambique. So this guy's a commie. Wow. And they're all commies. They're all commies. They're all commies. So let's do this now. Yes, make sure you hit the like and subscribe. Oh, someone finally remember what the terrorist said? Yeah, 13. Okay. So several media outlets quoted students and other witnesses saying the shooter yelled, Allahu Akbar. Huh. What did he yell? Dapper Detective says 48 hours after the Providence botched the mass shooter investigation, new images released of a person of interest. 9 gunshot survivors and eyewitnesses. They released a description of the killer. They've yet to release a description of the killer.
I'll show you in 2 seconds. Officer Mangan, if you could just activate the videos up. So this is the first video that we're showing you. This is the individual walking. It's on the sidewalk of Benevolent. And this is prior to the incident. Here we go again with the video too, Mike. Again, you see him walking. Go on to the third video. This is some photos.
Why is it so washed out? Like they're purposely washing it out.
And they will all be timestamped. The last photo. Thank you. So we'll be providing.
I mean, it should be like make everybody wonder why there's a person walking around with a mask on it like this. Like, why is this normal? Oh, I'm done seeing Ricky Ricardo up there. Unfortunately, the Providence Police and the FBI have grossly underperformed. There's a killer at large, and they failed. The failed leadership is stunning and dangerous. You're 100% on target. No argument from me. Yeah, nearly 48 hours since the Brown shooting, and their incompetence on full display. No description from a single eyewitness. Just as crap. We're sharing a video of the person of interest and plan to release additional video as part of the ongoing investigation. So there's all these people, all these 4K cameras, we get a grainy pic. Yeah. Why no speaking English? I don't know. They do not want to identify the shooter. No, they don't. They don't want him identified because they know who it is. All these people at the university, he worked at the university, he's connected all these people, he hangs out with them, he does the protests with them. They know who it is. They're... MIT is the only hub for technical advancement. Why do we expect cameras with more than 1 pixel? Yeah, I don't know. You think there's 50 plus Islamic countries. No reason for fake refugees coming in here. Yeah, what happened to all the cameras at the university? I don't know. So let's see. Here's some more video. This looks like it might be a little bit better. Let's look at some of this. Oh, wow, a shadow. Look at the shadow. Wow, that's great. How it's just a shadow walking there. Oh. 15 frames per second. Wow. I mean, seriously, they're putting out videos like this? Is what they're putting out? Videos like this? Now the province are blowing through the critical first 48 hours of Brown versus shooting, investigating enters into the evidence decay stage, in danger of digital evidence being overwritten or deleted. Witnesses relocating and memories fading. The Paw Patrol is more confidence. It's a disgrace. Yeah. Look at, that's the mayor. It looks familiar, right? Yeah. Brown has over 800 cameras, but they know his age, but not his race. Yeah. Got this, the second Brown shooting victim's ID, suspect still at large. Masks don't work properly anyway. An N95 can work, but you are suffocating yourself. I have a beard too. The shit don't fit. Yeah, it's like the J6 bomber all over again. It is, right? So you must have quit. Yeah, the masks don't fit. You must have quit. Oh, well, thanks, Joe. Great for being here. I won't restart on your behalf. Don't worry. Authorities are continuing to search for a lone gunman who killed 2 Brown University students, including the 19-year-old vice president of the elite college's Republican Club and a recent high school graduate from Virginia, and a mass shooting at the school over the weekend. It's weird that there's only like 75 Republicans at that school out of how many thousand, and he just happened to kill one of the 75. It's kind of odd, too. But anyway, the victim included Ella Cook, 19-year-old Brown sophomore and vice president of Brown College Republican Club, and Muhammad Aziz Umarozov, who finished studies at Midlothian High School in Chesterfield, Virginia earlier this year. Muhammad Aziz. Okay. Fox News was the earliest to share quotes from the students and other witnesses saying the shooter yelled Allah Akbar before opening fire in the building. Public is totally safe, though. Yeah, fake search. Yeah. Authorities briefly detained a person of interest on Sunday, but they said the man was released because the evidence no longer supported keeping him in custody. That guy's got a lawsuit and a half because they released his name and everything. Lawsuit. Big time. Rhode Island officials were forced to apologize after the name of the suspect was leaked to the press. Attorney General Peter Naronaha told reporters on Sunday that the evidence now points in a different direction. There's no basis to consider him a person of interest. President Trump briefly addressed the Brown University shooting ahead of his remarks Sunday at the White House. He offered his condolences to those who were killed in the shooting and said he hoped those who were injured would get well soon, get well fast. To the families of those who are no longer with us, I pay my deepest regards and respects from the United States of America. Kash Patel said the Boston field office, which has been assisting law enforcement in Rhode Island, has set up a command post to investigate the shooting. Well, yeah, so it's right there. That's wild, right? That it's that close to Boston, and then MIT's in Boston, but there's no connection. No connection. If I'm ever somewhere and I hear someone say, wait, I'm in Texas, never mind. We have deployed local and national resources to process and reconstruct the shooting scene, providing HQ and lab elements to the scene, Patel posted on X Sunday night. This FBI will continue an all-out 24/7 campaign until justice is finally served. The lamestream media wants a Marxist communist takeover of the planet. Yeah. Brown issued a statement Sunday night saying there are numerous questions about the shooting. You don't say. There's numerous questions. The building where it occurred remains an active investigation, and police will release information as appropriate. They didn't have enough evidence. Doesn't exonerate him, though. You're talking about the guy they released? No, they know it wasn't that guy. The guy's like skinny. The guy they have pictures. The guy's fat. The guy's like 5'8" and like 225 pounds at least, 220, 230, maybe 240. He's a big guy, fat guy, just like Mustafa. We continue to make every effort to ensure the safety and security of our campus. We also advising every member of Brown to be vigilant. Meanwhile, condolences were pouring in for Cook, who was confirmed as one of the two victims in a shooting by members of the Birmingham, Alabama church where she was a parishioner. Ella was known for her bold, brave, and kind heart as she served her chapter and fellow classmates. Our prayers are with the family, our Brown College Republicans, and the entire campus as they heal from this tragedy. What is this? A video? This says the Brown University shooting leaves community frustrated. You don't say. You don't say it leaves them frustrated.
Antoine, that's absolutely right. A lot of unease here in the city of Providence and Brown's campus because of the fact that the shooter is still out there. Now, this morning, there are 3 new images that police want everyone to take a look at showing this person of interest. And we're live here about a block away from where the shooting occurred. And this is one of the locations where that person of interest was captured on surveillance camera. Take a look at these images on your screen right now. These are the ones that the FBI and police want everyone to look at. They were recorded about 2 hours before the mass shooting on Saturday that killed 2 students and injured 9. Now, the man is seen wearing dark clothing, a mask, though part of his face is visible in one of those videos. Investigators hope these images will generate new leads as they work to identify the shooter.
We're asking the public for assistance to be able to identify this individual. So this is a very active investigation, very complex investigation. It's all hands on deck. There's no one that wants to put this individual in handcuffs than us.
Now, this follows a stunning turn in the investigation. A man previously detained was released last night. Investigators say the gunman specifically targeted the Ivy League school and came armed with a 9mm handgun, firing more than 40 rounds before leaving the scene. Now, investigators continue to canvass this area around Brown's campus. Additionally, there is a phone number on your screen right now if you have any video or any information to contact the FBI. Additionally, the FBI is offering a $50,000 reward for information that leads to an arrest. arrest. Reporting live in Providence this morning, Matt Reed, WCVB News Center 5.
Wow. I don't know why it does this. So, ongoing effort to find a man who walked into the campus busy exam season and shot nearly a dozen students in a crowded lecture hall raises questions about the school's security systems. You don't say. What big guy puts their hands behind their back? What is it? I don't know. It seems like a weird thing. He's doing something. And Amazing Disgrace says, I have no patience for Islam. If it's a religion of peace, then why are they seeking asylum? Question that's on everybody's mind. Everybody wants to know. So I'm just thinking you didn't get the joke. I'm sorry. I was trying to pay attention, but it was like broken up. So. Oh, okay. All right. I get it now. All right. Day after Saturday's shooting, officials say the person taken into custody would be released without charges, leading investigators with little actionable insight from what limited security video they had recovered and scrambled to develop new links. I mean, they supposedly had like 800 cameras on the site. I don't understand how. They don't have, they said what little they have. So law enforcement officials were still doing the most basic investigative work 2 days after the shooting that killed 2 students and wounded 9, canvassing local residences and businesses for security camera footage. That stuff should have all been done on day one. You know, what country is accepting Christian refugees from Zimbabwe? America should be, I guess, maybe. I don't know. I'm betting the protests back when they stormed and took over the buildings destroyed the cameras. Probably. Or they shut them off so ICE doesn't be able to see stuff. The fact that we're in such a surveillance state, but this wasn't used correctly at all is so deeply disturbing, says Li Ding, a student at the nearby Rhode Island School of Design who dances on a Brown University team. Ding is among hundreds of students who have signed a petition to increase security at the school buildings, saying officers need to do a better job of keeping the campus secure against threats like active shooters. I honestly think the students are doing a more effective job of taking care of each other than the police, Ding said. Ding, fries are done. Christy Do Re Mi Fa Sol La Ti Do, Chief Public Information Officer at the Providence Police Department, said at no point did the investigation stand down, even after officials appeared to have a breakthrough in a case, detaining a Wisconsin man who they now believe was not involved. The investigation continues as scenes were still active. Nothing was cleared, says Dos Reis. Dos Reis mis fa sol las tis dos. So these are the pictures that you can sort of see, but the guy you can see he's got a big gut. Police on Monday released new video and photographs of men they believe carried out the attack. FBI Special Agent in charge Ted Dox said a $50,000 reward was being offered. $50,000 only? The building is on the edge of campus and a residential area, so the shooter didn't have to go through the main campus. No questions about geofence or cell phone data. That would be, we're asking the public to be patient as we continue. So the videos are mostly from homes and office buildings. While Brown University is dotted with cameras, there were few in the Baruch and Holly building, home of the engineering school that was targeted. Reality is it's an old building attached to a new one. The lack of campus footage left police seeking tips from the public. Catherine Bayama said the U.S. Marshals came to her door on Monday seeking footage from a security camera pointed at the street. This is the first time any of us in my building, as far as I know, heard from anyone. That's odd, right?
Yes, we are. Good morning, Antoinette and Katie. We are standing outside of the main gates here on Brown University's campus. You can see here behind me this growing memorial, a lot of flowers, a teddy bear, candles, and pictures of those 2 victims. Ella Cook, a sophomore from Alabama, was the vice president of the College Republicans of America here at Brown University. Friends say freshman Mohammed Aziz Mirzakov was studying neuroscience with dreams of becoming a doctor. Now their family, friends, and the entire Brown University community are mourning an unimaginable loss.
Wow.
Her loss is really, really a big hit for the Brown community. It's going to be a long period of healing and pain going forward to start next semester.
The loss of him would be felt throughout this community because his soul truly did reverberate throughout the community.
Since the shooting, students have been stopping at the memorials on campus with flowers and heavy hearts, trying to really process the magnitude of this devastating loss. Now, tonight, a candlelight vigil will be held on campus at 7 o'clock at St. Stephen's Church that is on campus, and all are welcome to attend.
All are welcome, even the shooters welcome?
Caitlin Gelhaus, WCVB News Center.
They're even inviting the shooter back. I said all are welcome. They want the shooter to come back. Students said the school's emergency alert system kept them relatively well informed about the presence of an active shooter, but they were uncertain what to do. During the prolonged lockdown. Chang Hang Chin, a 32-year-old doctoral student in engineering. Why do we have so many Chinese people in school here? Isn't that someone need to ask some questions? Hid under desks and turned off lights after receiving an alert about the shooting at 4:22 p.m. on Saturday in a campus lab. While I was hiding in the lab, I heard police yelling outside, but my friends and I were debating whether we should open the door, since at the moment the shooter was believed to be nearby. Experts say colleges can be at a disadvantage when it comes to security. Law enforcement experts say colleges are more often at a disadvantage when responding to threats. Their security officers are typically less trained and paid less than other law enforcement departments. They don't always have close partnerships with better resourced agencies. Well, why is that? Why wouldn't they? Often funding for campus police departments is not top priority, even for schools with ample resources. Terrence Gaynor, a former law enforcement officer from Illinois who served as the U.S. Senate's Sergeant at Arms. They aren't just as flush in law enforcement as you would think. They don't have a lot of uniform presence. They don't have a lot of guns around. Whether it's Brown or someone else, the key question is what type of relationship they have with the local police department. Chief Damp Posterior refused to acknowledge anything about what was shouted. Semi-official line is he shouted, but no one remembers or is being allowed to say. Well, it's being reported now that he was on center. It was on what is it? What is this? Center Square that he shouted Aloha Snack Bar. I don't know. This is a student talking about hiding.
About a block from the scene. I'm standing here in front of the library, and we talked with a student who was here for hours during the shooting. She helped push tables and chairs against the elevator to make sure if the shooter came this way, he couldn't get to them. Now, just a few hours ago, we saw the FBI searching for evidence outside of Brown. A former WCVB intern and Brown University student took video showing her evacuation. She says she and her fellow students want to see the gunman captured.
And I think it leaves 6,800 underclassmen student body in complete fear and shock and unable to grapple with what happened and unable to get any sort of closure on the event. And I don't think I will be able to get any closure.
Her family lives near the school, so she spent several hours on Saturday night worried about them as well, but thankfully everybody was safe. She says she and her friends felt like it was a violation that someone had come into their school and taken away their sense of safety. In Providence, Charmin
They killed somebody. A violation. It was a fucking murder. What are these people talking about? A violation. It was a violation. It was a violation.
5 people have been charged in connection with the death of.
Get out of here. What are you doing? Same thing for the AP Brown University shooting leaves students and community frustrated with the official response. So they're pissed. I'm sure that murdering one of the 2 leaders of Brown GOP group out of 11,000 students was just a coincidence. Yeah, just a coincidence. Hey, Charvon, what's up? Charvon, what's up? Safe space, Jim. I know. Sorry. Europe is a preview of America if we don't put our foot down. Yes, European citizens are being treated like sheep with their own government condoning migrant behavior. It's crazy. Reporters pressed him hard on it and refused to give a real answer. They will not say 3.1 million a year. Goes, the universe is running things and hates cops on the right. Okay. They don't count it as murder because it was Republicans. Okay. If you want to go to a place full of arrogant 20-year-olds. Hey, hello. What the F? How you doing? Cannibalistic Wizard, great to see you too. So let's see here. What else we got? So that's all we got right now. But this is the let's see here. Where's it at? But this is for people that join late. This is the person that is being reported everywhere that they're saying is that they're looking for. This guy Mustafa Karbouch, Center for Middle East Studies at Brown. You can see he's kind of heavy set. I don't know. He's got that thing around his neck. So. President of the university, my fault, not checking autocorrect. Okay, so and they're scrubbing all his stuff. So, and clearly, if it was him, someone would have recognized him. You would think. All right, let's go on to the next story now. We got this one here. The FBI warned the Biden Justice Department there was, it's a Mustabe fat douche. Yeah, go figure. Well, yeah, supposedly he's got, they pronouns. So that would be like Palatrunian. A Palatrunian? Imagine the smell. Yeah. The FBI warned the Biden Justice Department there wasn't a legal basis to execute the unprecedented Mar-a-Lago raid on Trump. For presidential records, Trump was allowed to have under the Presidential Records Act. With Biden's approval, Jay Bratt obtained the stunning and illegal warrant from U.S. Magistrate Judge Bruce Reinhart. Wow, an unprecedented. Unprecedented. But Reinhart was legally conflicted. 6 weeks prior, Reinhart recused himself from Trump's civil lawsuit against Hillary for Crossfire Hurricane, the greatest scandal and criminal conspiracy in American history. Hey, Sunshine's here. Great to see you. Hi, Jim. Hey, everyone. I'm late, but I'm always am. I know, it's not fair. You get that. Yeah. He has an actual witness confirmed or disputed what the shooter yelled. Witnesses supposedly confirmed that it was posted by several people. Jack Prosobiec and then Guy Benson posted it. And obviously Laura Loomer was all over it, but followed Tommy for a long time. He has been a canary in the coal mines. Yeah, Tommy Robinson's a great guy. It was a stunning and brave warrant, actually. And hello, Jim. Well, hello to you too, Mark. How you doing? And, so because Reinhart had a 2017 Facebook post trashing Trump, showing Reinhart's clear judicial bias. How did Reinhart recusal go away in just 6 weeks when Reinhart colluded with the Biden DOJ to order the unprecedented and unlawful raid on the former president? Even one without probable cause, according to the FBI. Hey, Pyramid 7's here too. What's up? Great to see you. But desperate times called for desperate measures. Trump was poised to publicly disclose damning Crossfire Hurricane records. Reinhart, that's a something name. Yeah. Did he gaily proclaim Allah Akbar? Maybe. Could have. Possibly. I said blah, 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 blah. Are those actual witnesses? I don't know. They know. They're just keeping it tight. It's like always, man. If it was a guy who yelled something about white supremacy, they would have immediately said that. You know, if he would have said something like big smile, if you know what I mean, rhymes with big smile. Big smile. Reinhart knew these discovery documents were coming, which evidences Obama, Biden, and their top officials are participating in the biggest scandal and criminal conspiracy in American history. They politicize and weaponize intelligence agencies to go after, and law enforcement to go after their political opponents, to harm them for non-crimes. They made up the Russia collusion hoax. They lied to the FISA court to help Hillary and destroy Trump. Lawyer up law for Democrats. Justice is coming. Nobody's above the law. We'll see. We shall see. Stop talking and actually do something. Until this happens, nothing will change. That's right. It says, it's true, we just turned over documents to Capitol Hill to make public showing the FBI and DOJ they did not have probable cause for raiding President Trump's home, but the DOJ didn't give a damn and did it anyway. The FBI is set to give Congress bombshell memos showing the Biden DOJ was warned the raid on President Trump's home did not have probable cause. The FBI field office did not believe they established probable cause. Something better get done. Did Merrick Garland get pardoned? I wonder. FBI to give Congress bombshell memos warning the FBI that DOJ didn't have probable cause. Hey, Cesium Cat's here. What's up? Don't forget to hit the like button. That's right. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to hit the like. Don't forget to lick the like. 135 people watching and only 60 likes, man. That's not good. That makes me feel like I'm doing something wrong here. Maybe I need to, I don't know, change something. What should I do? What should I do? Obama's legal hatchet man, Norm Eisen, tells us that the raid on Mar-a-Lago was about getting Russia collusion hoax documents. What? Secondary benefit was the spectacle of raiding a former president's home for the first time in history. Both were about interfering in the 2024 election. Norm was behind all the state lawfare, the sham J6 committee, and their dog and pony shows, and was involved in Arctic frost. He has been running a color revolution against Trump and MAGA since 2017, and absolutely worthless Pam Bondi has done not a damn thing about it. Nothing to hold him accountable, so he continues to this day, including the work to get James Comey and Letitia James's cases tossed out because the cases lead directly to him and his BFF, Obama. Yeah, Barry said, not a single smidgen of scandal. This is way bigger than a smidgen. Yes, this is way bigger than a smidgen. Liked already. Well, thank you, Mark. The Norm Eisen, that Norm Eisen is a free man is a travesty and a disgrace. Here I'm giggling and talking about. Should we listen to it? It's only 50 seconds. I mean, I don't like listening.
I think there's probably materials in there that would be useful to him if he were to run again. For example, materials relating to the Russia investigation where he could reveal or rebut. There may be Biden-related materials in there. You know, he has this false obsession that Joe Biden and the Clintons and others. So it may be an opposition dossier. You know, maybe when the current president was in private life or a family member, something was picked up on a surveillance mic. So dirt. So those are, by my count, those are about 5 of the reasons. Larry, nobody knows. All we know is there's strong evidence of abuse that rises to the level of document crimes and of a second area of crime, obstruction. I think there's.
So nobody knows. So he said nobody knows what he has. So if nobody knows, how did they have probable cause to go search? That would mean nobody has evidence. Yeah, Puke can't stand him. Yeah, and he said, oh, they might have dirt. He might have, maybe something was picked up on a mic about a family member. He was talking about Biden or not. Oh, so it rises to the level because nobody knows. If nobody knows, then how do they get a fucking warrant? Harmeet Dallin says, incredible. Wow, FBI to give Congress bombshell memos warning Biden DOJ did not have probable cause to raid Trump's home. FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid the Mar-a-Lago, but descended on Trump's estate amid pressure from Biden's DOJ. According to emails obtained by Fox News, the FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid Mar-a-Lago in 2022, but descended on Trump's home anyway, amid pressure from Biden's corrupt Department of Justice. The Biden FBI raided Mar-a-Lago in 22 and seized boxes of records from Trump's Florida estate. More than 3 dozen machine gun-toting agents descended on Mar-a-Lago in August 2022, and by November, Biden's DOJ appointed a special counsel to investigate the documents stored at the Florida residence. The raid came after the National Archives visited Mar-a-Lago in early 2022 and demanded documents from Trump. Court documents reveal Biden's FBI authorized the use of deadly force during their raid on Mar-a-Lago, authorized by Attorney General Merrick Garland. Corrupt FBI agents released staged photos of the classified documents laid out on the floor, but none of these things were there. They put all those things there. That said top secret, all the stuff. The FBI put that shit there. Emails obtained by Fox News or the DOJ, somebody, whoever from Biden's people put it there. obtained by Fox, says FBI agents go back and forth about the classified documents and how the FBI didn't have actual probable cause to conduct the raid. Absent a witness coming forward with recent information about classified on site, at what point is it fair to table this? It's time consuming for the team and not productive if there's no new facts supporting probable cause. Another email obtained by Fox revealed that the FBI Washington field office did not believe it had articulated to the DOJ CES that they have established probable cause for the search warrant for classified records at Mar-a-Lago. DOJ has opined that they do have probable cause, requesting a wide scope, including residence, office, storage space, one agent wrote. Another email reveals an FBI intended to raid Mar-a-Lago in a low-key manner. The FBI intends for the execution of the warrant to be handled in a professional, low-key manner and to be mindful of the optics of the search. The FBI did not believe it had probable cause, but moved forward amid pressure from the Biden DOJ, saying they don't give. One Justice Department official said he doesn't give a damn about the optics. Doesn't give a damn. They reviewed emails between FBI and Justice Department officials in the months leading up to the August raid. FBI officials expressing concern about lack of probable cause. Very little has been developed related to who might be culpable for mishandling documents. An FBI official said, serving as assistant special agent in charge. From the interviews, WFO has gathered information suggesting there may be additional boxes, presumably the same type as were sent back to NARA in January at Mar-a-Lago. What's it say? Judges Boasberg granting warrants and TROs without cause or jurisdiction isn't suspicious at all, especially at the level of government interference involved deserves hearings and impeachment. Yeah, it does. Totally does. I don't know if it's going to happen. WFO has been drafting a search warrant affidavit related to these potential boxes, but has some concerns that the information is single source, has not been corroborated, and may be dated. They have a problem too, because at the time the boxes were taken there, Trump was president. DOJ, however, that the search warrant meets the probable cause standard. Even as we continue down the path forward, WFO believes that a reasonable conversation with the former president's attorney, stating that the FBI and DOJ are readying a search warrant and have developed information that there are more documents at Mar-a-Lago, ought not be discounted. Not shocking at all, Alina Hava says. The FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid Donald Trump's home in 2022. Receiving shocking new docs today from the DOJ, FBI did not believe it had probable cause to raid Trump's home, but Biden DOJ pushed for it anyway. Same thing from Fox. FBI doubted probable cause, but FBI DOJ pushed for it anyway. Is this going to be? Let's see. Is this going to be her talking about this? Let's see.
Now, joining us now with more is the attorney for former President Donald Trump. Alina Haba is with us, along with Fox News legal analyst Greg Jarrett is with us. Alina, let me go to this very important question of how Hillary was treated, how Sandy Berger was treated. Let's talk about that February letter that they got from the National Archives and Record Administration, and let's talk about what happened in June, because it seems like they were saying in writing that Donald Trump was cooperating. Apparently, he cooperated in June, just before this raid happened recently. So what changed in the interim?
That's an incredibly good question. So first of all, what's the difference between Hillary and the predecessors? Well, it's very simple. Donald Trump is a Republican. He's leading in the polls, and that is a problem for Joe Biden and anybody that's going to be running against him if he chooses to run for 2024. That's the answer to that question. If he was a registered Democrat, this wouldn't have happened. As far as Ms. Wall's letter, it states very clearly that she was told by counsel to President Biden, again, like you said, misinformation. They said they didn't know, but counsel to the president said that he deferred to Ms. Wall and that she could then decide to just remove the privilege that every president prior has had. So That's the issue there. As to what happened in between June and August, well, we know what happened. This was an event that was prime right before election. It is prime because he's way ahead in the polls. And the Wall Street Journal's headline today stated it perfectly clearly. This was an improper search. It was not done correctly. There was no need for it, and he was cooperating. There is absolutely no reason. No reason. And now we have evidence of that they were cooperating.
Greg Jarrett, the night of the raid at Mar-a-Lago, you were on this very program, and you pointed out what the Wall Street Journal mentioned today, and that is that the Federal Records Act gives authority to a former president to have custody and control over presidential papers. I want you to talk about that and add to that the right of a president to declassify documents as he sees fit, which, by the way, is not something that, say, a Secretary of State like Hillary Clinton could do.
Well, and the other difference is that there was overwhelming evidence of intent on Hillary Clinton's part, and the statutes that she violated and should have been prosecuted under used terms like knowingly and intentionally and deliberately. Well, she certainly did that. But here with President Trump, presidents don't pack up their boxes in the Oval Office. They're not allowed to. It's by law. That's done by the GSA. Does anybody think that when he got down to Mar-a-Lago, he sat in a room for weeks on end or months on end going through boxes and papers? No, of course not. And he cannot be held vicariously culpable under the law for the actions of his staff or auditors or lawyers. But the important point I made to you the night of the raid is that the Presidential Records Act is the controlling statute. It gives him a measure of control and custody and possession and access. And of course, these two constitutional scholars in today's Wall Street Journal made the exact same point. Merrick Garland knew all of that. There's no enforcement provision under the Records Act. It's not a crime. So what did Merrick Garland do? He tossed in 3 general criminal statutes. Well, wait a minute. Under law for more than 100 years in America, a specific statute like the Records Act takes precedent and supersedes any general statutes. And again, Garland knew that, but he wanted to gain access to Trump's compound for an ulterior motive, to look for some evidence, any evidence of a different crime, maybe something related to January 6th. So he tossed out a general warrant, which is a clear violation of the Fourth Amendment, which requires it to be specific. This wasn't. And the magistrate should never have signed it. And I bet he has a bit of buyer's remorse now, which is probably the reason why he wants to divulge the contents of the affidavit, because maybe that shows not only lies and misrepresentations, but omissions about how the president had actually been cooperating and how a subpoena should have been used instead of a warrant.
Wow. It's going to be very interesting to watch.
Wow, that's crazy, right? That's crazy. All right, let's do this. We had a rant. We have a rant. A rant. We'll share this up. Look at that. Dizzy D for 20. Thank you, Dizzy D. There's no statement there, but with that 20, that now brings us to just $2 away. Just $2 away from the first additional hour of the show. Yeah, so when is someone going to jail? Don't know. When Biden was VP, no rights to classified documents stored in a garage. Cases handled completely differently. So was the case, was Garland one that got an auto pen pardon? I don't know. I don't know. I do not know. Not sure. Not sure. Okay, all right. So yeah, there's her talking. All right. FBI didn't believe it had probable cause. Very little developed related to who might be culpable for mishandling documents. Yeah. He goes, $2. I want our $2. Garland family was making money off CRT fake theory, grip books, and studies. Yeah. They fire who? Her? She's working in the Justice Department now. Here's just the news. FBI repeatedly warned DOJ didn't have probable cause to raid Trump home. Nothing has not been corroborated. So they raided the house. Was no probable cause. All right, and then this came out too. We broke the Uranium One story back in 2015. Book Clinton clash. Hey, H.J. Remy's here. Hello, everyone. Justice who? They might appreciate that their artwork is being appreciated. They might. So now it emerges that while federal investigators believe that there was significant evidence worth pursuing related to criminal activity, Obama officials shut down the investigation. Yes. Hillary's own Russia scandal. FBI memos detail how the Uranium One, anyone? Nope. Uranium One. At the Russians gradually assumed control of Uranium One, a flow of cash made its way to the Clinton Foundation. Uranium One's chairman used his family foundation to make 4 donations totaling $2.35 million. Those contributions were not publicly disclosed by the Clintons. What do you know? What do you know, Frankie? They were taking money. Hillary Clinton's own Russia scandal. FBI memos detail how Uranium One probe was thwarted. Federal investigators believe there was significant evidence worth pursuing related to the possible criminality involving the Clinton Foundation and the State Department's approval of the sale of Uranium One to Russian state-owned interests. But delays by the Justice Department and FBI let the inquiry wither and die because of statute of limitations issues. The sale of the Canada-based Uranium One to the Russia state-owned Rosatom was the focus of great controversy and scrutiny from Republicans. And others who argued that then Secretary of State Clinton helped approve the deal that the Clinton Foundation may have stood to benefit from. Well, they did benefit from it. They didn't just stood to it. Career agents and line prosecutors at the FBI and DOJ also believe the saga may have been a criminal one. But orders from DOJ leaders such as then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates and then FBI Director Andrew McCabe slow-walked and stonewalled the inquiry to the point where it could no longer be pursued. FBI agents and DOJ prosecutors in Little Rock, Arkansas, and elsewhere closely scrutinized the scandal, but were largely blocked from seriously investigating due to leadership delays, and following those delays, arguments that the statute of limitations had run out. Oh, look at this. Imagine if that uranium had been used in an attack against us. Yeah, imagine. Just imagine. Look at this. Brian Ogden for 2. With that, folks.
Tactical assessment. Red Chinese victory. Impossible. America will never fall to communist invasion. Communism is the very definition of failure.
Thank you for the $2, Brian. With that, we hit the first goal for the first additional hour of the show at one. Wow, look at that. That's great. So now we are $100 away from a second additional hour of the show, because these shows, folks, they can go as long as you, the viewer, wants them to go. It's all up to you. Brian says, Sunshine, I do what I can. And he does what he wants. He runs with gangs. Jonathan Ross, then first assistant U.S. attorney for the Eastern District of Virginia, argued in 2018 that there is no legal barrier to continuing the present investigation into the Clinton Foundation and Uranium One. Ross has served as U.S. attorney in Arkansas since 2022, including during Trump's second term. Then U.S. Attorney Cody Hillen of Arkansas also sent a 2018 email to then U.S. Attorney John Huber of Utah, largely summarizing Ross's argument, stressing that we do not believe the prosecution is time-barred by a statute of limitations, in part because payments from the subjects of the investigation to the foundation were made continuously from 2007 to 2014. A newly declassified internal FBI investigative timeline also argued that the claims that the statute of limitations had run out failed to include whether acts of concealment, such as deleting emails in 2015 and making additional statements and representations about those deletions, would have extended the statute of limitations. Yeah, because it's a continuing conspiracy. $2 holla! And also pointed to possible of federal criminal statutes such as the Racketeer Influence of Corrupt Organizations, RICO Act, major fraud against the United States, and bank fraud. Blank FISA papers filed in court. The timeline also argued that 18 U.S.C. 3287, Wartime Suspension of Statute of Limitations Act, should have extended a statute of limitations for this alleged criminality as well. Senate Judiciary Chairman Chuck Grassley made the records produced to him by FBI Director Kash Patel and Attorney General Pam Bondi available to Just the News this past weekend. Uranium One was a Canadian company that mined uranium around the world with assets in Eurasia, Africa, North America. Its facilities in Wyoming and Utah and other states accounted for approximately 20% of the uranium capacity the U.S. had at the time, which prompted a review by the Committee on Foreign Investment, CFIUS, to approve an acquisition by a Russian state-backed company. Then Secretary of State Clinton sat on that committee and had a prominent role in shaping the Obama administration's foreign policy. That money went to CBC TV media companies too. Obama was not popular in Canada. Uranium One shareholders poured millions of dollars into the Clinton Foundation prior to the CFIUS approval, but nevertheless, the investigation petered out due to delays from the top and internal debates on whether statutes of limitations had expired. Obama is a fucking goof, a real DEI. Statute of limitation except for the Trump Chevron rule. Yeah, well. The Clinton Foundation did not respond to a request for comment. Once the investigation had essentially been delayed for a year and dragged past November 2016 election, the timeline shows that the DOJ officials under Trump then began to raise their concerns regarding the statute of limitations. Around the Clinton Foundation investigation and Uranium One saga, Ross would argue that claims related to the statute of limitations running out were flawed and that substantial evidence existed to investigate. The timeline stated that the FBI's New York field office initiated a preliminary investigation on January 22nd. The Little Rock field office initiated a full field investigation on January 27th, and the Washington field office initiated a preliminary investigation on January 29th, 2016. The Clinton Foundation's intersection with Uranium One saga was part of the investigation mix from the start. The timeline also said that the FBI Little Rock submits case opening requesting full field investigation regarding Clinton Giestria Enterprise Partnership, Clinton Giestra Sustainable Growth Initiative, Uranium One America's Frank Giestra, and Ian Telfer. Hey, what's up, Kilo? How you doing tonight? Great to see you. The timeline stated that in late November 2016, then Criminal Chief James Gatta advised Eastern District of New York had some concerns regarding statute of limitations, while then U.S. Attorney Robert Capers said the case would have a statute of limitations issues and that Capers wanted to close this chapter and move forward. Some offenses are beyond statutes of limitations. Yes, called like treason. Then First Assistant U.S. Attorney Patrick Harris at the end of January 2018 sent emails to an entire investigative team and U.S. Attorney Highland indicating that, in his opinion, that we've deemed to be faulty, the statute of limitations for such fire investigation ends 2/1/2018. Oh, so they waited right till the end to say. Defining the last act of furtherance of a conspiracy, Hillen sent in June 2018 email to Huber providing an update on the CF investigation, saying that presumably Jonathan Ross, put much of this together for you. The email said the Bureau has 17 302s and 9 intelligence summaries, and said that the majority of the existing 302s pertain directly to the Uranium One component of the investigation. Prosecutors say the team did not believe the statute of limitations had run out, suggesting that the last act in furtherance of the conspiracy is the date from which a statute of limitation commenced to run, not the date in which the public official resigned, left their office. I would be less than forthcoming if I didn't convey my belief that our local agents continue to have an issue concerning their confidence in their authority to investigate the matter due to an email message containing a flawed statute of limitations opinion from a man they have worked for years and I respect. The email was sent on January 30th, 2018 and has cast a permanent pall over the local agents' attitude towards the very investigation they fought so hard to reinitiate after being shut down in January of 2016. who shut down the investigation? Shouldn't that be something that people should be asking? Like, how did it get shut down? Who did it? And why? Well, that's what I think, right? The ongoing crimes and cover-ups keeps the clock ticking. That's what I would think. There are remaining investigative tasks that should be completed before making a final assessment of the Uranium One matter. This includes potential interviews with Frank Guestra, Ian Telfer, and Redacted, and foreign nationals, specifically identified by Redacted. Who do you think the Redacted is? Is the Redacted Hillary Clinton? And blank, especially identified as making statements concerning attempts to use the foundation as a vehicle to influence the Secretary of State. The career official at the State Department that Undersecretary Fernandez communicated with prior to voting to approve the transaction, officials at DOE, Department of Energy, that approved the export authorization for the trucking firm owned and operated by Rosatom after CIFA's approval of the acquisition. The prosecutor also argued that the intelligence summary regarding Uranium One fails to account for the dynamic related to possibly deliberate false statements that could have been made by Uranium One officials to CFIUS to induce the authorization to sell Uranium One to Rosatom, i.e. that Rosatom could not export uranium. It's time to make significant movement on this matter if it's to be properly and effectively run to ground, especially as it relates to wrapping up the Uranium One investigation. Must be prosecuted publicly. Yeah, I think so. Ross wrote a September message where he argued that I believe the agents here have a depressed morale issue concerning their confidence in the authority to investigate the matter due to the email sent by former First Assistant U.S. Attorney Patrick Harris that he sent to the investigative team at the end of January 2018. YouTube is killing you here? What's wrong with YouTube, Amazing Disgrace? What happened? Something happened? You trying to write something going on? That's a problem? Let me see. I don't see nothing. Thursday, February 1st will be 5 years since Clinton resigned at State. I believe the statute of limitations has expired and the investigation of Uranium One has expired. This guy was covering up. Whoever this guy was covering up. And we're assuming that the statute would extend until she was no longer Secretary of State. I think after February, we have no evidence to suggest we have jurisdiction to investigate matters that occurred more than 5 years ago. We should not be using redacted. If there are interviews to conduct, so be it, but I haven't seen any evidence to suggest another crime. I know there may be allegations of pay to play involving the foundation, but I haven't seen the evidence that gets us out of the statute of limitations problems as much as Clinton resigned on 2/1/13. Ross said the redacted is simply wrong in his assessment concerning how statute of limitations impacts this investigation. I met with redacted and asked him if he was aware of 18 U.S.C. 3287 when he drafted that email. His answer was no, I've never heard of it. Ross also wrote that, however, I believe due to their long-term relationship with redacted and their high confidence in his opinions, the agents here in Little Rock continue to have some questions back of their minds. So I wonder if this redacted might be Andy McCabe or something like that, some higher up at the FBI. Hey, Pat Hacker, great to see you tonight. Ross argued the FBI must allocate some additional agent support and perhaps even completely reassign this matter to a separate team of investigators, and contended that the unique dynamics of how this case has been handled here in our office by previous management team and a significant caseload of our office is such that I don't have confidence in the ability of our existing staff to support this investigation. Further complicating our need for resources that standard go-to for such support on public corruption cases is the public integrity at Maine Justice, but as we have previously discussed, there appears to be conflicts of interest for the leadership there related to the 2016 investigations that undermine any confidence we might normally have in looking to them for assistance. The Obama administration penned a new 123 agreement with the Kremlin, which was designed to increase cooperation on civil nuclear energy and further commercial opportunities between the two economies. The deal led to billions of dollars in contracts for U.S. utilities to buy Russian uranium to power their nuclear reactors. The state-controlled. So we sold our uranium to Russia and then bought their uranium. Well, that was fucking retarded, wasn't it? Russia's state-controlled nuclear company Rosatom was also making moves to corner the global supply at the same time. The Russian company's efforts to acquire the Canadian company Uranium One became a scandal for the Obama administration because it saw the virtual elimination of U.S. domestic production of uranium and raised corruption concerns about some of its chief officials. The acquisition became a scandal that plagued her 2016 campaign after the investigative author Peter Schweizer and his Government Accountability Institute find now Uranium One shareholders allegedly funneled $145 million into the Clinton Foundation. Wow, before the deal was set to be considered. That's a lot of money, $145 million. The acquisition was subsequently approved, and Clinton's team has immediately denied that the secretary had a major role in approving the sale. What does that mean? New York Times reported in 2015, as the Russians gradually assumed control of Uranium One in 3 separate transactions from 2009 to 2013, a flow of cash made its way to the Clinton Foundation. Uranium One's chairman used his family foundation to make 4 donations totaling $2.35 million. Those contributions were not publicly disclosed by the Clintons. Despite an agreement Mrs. Clinton had struck with the Obama White House to publicly identify all donors, other people with ties to the company made donations as well. Oh, so you don't say, so Hillary Clinton was a liar. Really? Amazing Disgrace says, trust me, I try to remain civil. YouTube doesn't agree with my definition of civil, though. Some of that goes back to Harry Reid attacks on the Bundy grazing land, rich in rare minerals. Oh, yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's what they wanted to get him off there for. Shortly after the Russians announced their intention to acquire a majority stake in Uranium One, Mr. Clinton received $500,000 for a Moscow speech from a Russian investment bank with links to the Kremlin that was promoting Uranium One stock. At the same time, both Rosatom and the United States government made promises intended to ease concerns about ceding control of the company's assets to Russia. Those promises have been repeatedly broken. The Hill had reported in October 2017, before the Obama administration approved a controversial deal in 2010, giving Moscow control to a large swath of American uranium, the FBI had gathered substantial evidence that Russian nuclear industry officials were engaged in bribery, kickbacks, extortion, and money laundering designed to grow Vladimir Putin's atomic energy business inside the United States. Federal agents used a confidential U.S. witnesses working inside the Russian nuclear industry to gather extensive financial records, making secret recordings and intercepting emails as early as 2009 that showed Moscow had compromised an American uranium trucking firm with bribes and kickbacks in violation of the Foreign Corrupt Practices Act. Nobody went to jail, though. They also obtained an eyewitness account backed by documents indicating Russian nuclear officials had routed millions of dollars to the U.S. designed to benefit former President Clinton's charitable foundation during the time Secretary of State Hillary Clinton served on the government body that provided a favorable decision to Moscow. So you mean when they were accusing Trump of all Russia, it was really them that had the ties to Russia? No shit. Confession through projection. That's what they do. Congress demanded answers about Uranium One and the Clinton Foundation. In December 2010, then a letter to then President Obama, this transaction would give the Russian government control of a sizable portion of America's uranium production capacity. Greg Jackko, then chairman of the Nuclear Regulatory Commission, contended in March 2011 that in order to export uranium from the United States, Uranium One would need to apply for and obtain a special NRC license authorizing the export of uranium for use in reactor fuel. Grassley sent a letter to then U.S. Attorney General Loretta Lynch. If you remember, Loretta Lynch met with Bill Clinton on the tarmac for like an hour, a secret meeting. Wonder what that was all about. Yeah, Hillary had a big red button for the Russian reset. Yeah. BJ and the Bear, uranium trucking and fighting crime. Contending that Loretta Lynch got a letter contending that during critical stages of the acquisition approval, interested parties made large donations, some in the millions of dollars, to the Clinton Foundation while Miss Clinton held the position as Secretary of State. Maybe that's what she was meeting with Bill Clinton talking about, getting her payday. The senator said that in light of the gravity of the decision to allow a Russian takeover of almost a quarter of U.S. uranium assets, it is in the public interest to determine the facts and circumstances of the transaction, including any potential donations that could have influenced the CFIUS review process. House GOP-led Oversight and Intelligence Committee in October 2017 announced a joint inquiry into the Obama administration regulatory approvals related to the U.S. uranium industry, foreign donations seeking to curry favor, and the influence with U.S. officials, whether a federal nuclear bribery probe developed evidence of wrongdoing connected to the Uranium One mining company, Department of Justice, criminal and counterintelligence investigations, bribery, extortion, and other related matters. So they were trying to get a case, but kept getting shut down. He also sent a letter to Secretary Rex Tillerson. Very serious questions remain about the basis for finding this transaction did not threaten to impair U.S. national security. employees of Rosatom were involved in criminal enterprise involving conspiracy to commit extortion and money laundering during the time of the CFIUS transaction. Barrasso sent a letter in 2017 to the Energy Secretary Rick Perry and Nuclear Regulatory Commission Chairman Christine Svinicki, saying that based on the information that's recently come to light, I now believe the response I received from the Obama administration and the process which I received it were both misleading. So Attorney General Jeff Sessions asked U.S. Attorney John Huber to review the allegations. Wow, what happened with John Huber? A whole lot of nothing. Then Assistant Attorney General Stephen Boyd had sent a letter to the House GOP Judiciary Committee in which you and other members request appointment of a special counsel to investigate various matters. Sessions then forwarded a letter to Huber and told the federal prosecutor, I request that you review the matters referenced in a letter, but to avoid any matters being looked at by then special counsel Robert Mueller. Hyland met in mid-August 2019 with DOJ officials to discuss the need for additional resources, alternative closing the case. A leak to the Washington Post in January 2020 indicated Huber was winding down his effort. Huber's investigation of the Clinton Foundation had been assumed by then U.S. Attorney John Durham. Oh, John Durham, the place where stories go to die. The bill was setting up the deals. His speaking fees jumped up suddenly. Yeah, well, that's what everyone says. That's what it looks like happened. That's what it really looks like happened. John Durham's special counsel report said the appointment order by Barr did not include Uranium One saga within its scope. We have not interpreted the order as directing us to consider matters addressed by the former United States Attorney for the District of Utah. So Clinton's going to walk again. The U.S. dependence on Russia-sourced uranium was a long time in the making, cemented by several deals signed by the Clinton and Obama administrations that hooked the United States on Moscow's uranium supply. The energy sector's dependence on Russian uranium, created during a failed Obama-era reset with Moscow, came back to bite Americans as Kremlin moved to block future exports of the vital fuel. Putin imposed new restrictions on uranium exports to the U.S. in November 24, which came as the country's war with Ukraine continued to heighten tensions with the U.S. and the West. Enriched uranium is a vital component of nuclear power plants in the United States, which account for a fifth of electricity production across the nation. The United States is almost entirely dependent on imports to acquire enriched uranium. Congress passed and Biden signed the Prohibiting Russian Uranium Imports Act shortly after Russia's invasion in Ukraine. Oh, so they sold off all the uranium to the Russians, and then Biden signed a bill saying you can't buy any uranium from Russia. That's just fucking stupid, isn't it? The DOE's information agency revealed in September that Russia was responsible in 2024 for 20% of the enriched uranium upon which America's nuclear reactors rely, while a substantial percentage, this is down from a year prior. Russia covered 27% of U.S. enriched uranium demand in 2023. The latest revelations from the FBI and DOJ inquiry into the Clinton Foundation, stalled by political leadership, delayed by McCabe, slow-walked by prosecutors, and riven by internal debate, indicate the process by which Uranium One was handed over to the Russians was never properly investigated. Yeah, the red dress guy who was stealing luggage, he was part of this nuclear commission. Yeah. Well, that's an interesting story, isn't it? Mm-hmm. All right, on to the next story. Ilhan Omar says that Republicans are sick. You Republicans are just sick for investigating her over marrying her brother. You know what's sick? Marrying your brother.
Congresswoman, can I ask you your response to Tom Homan saying you're under investigation for immigration, possible immigration violations? Just any response you have to what he's saying in the public.
I have a response because I don't know what they'll be investigating.
So you don't think they would find anything?
Absolutely not.
Why do you think they keep bringing this up in the media?
They're
Sick.
Congresswoman, can I?
It's because they're sick. Hey, Trumpinator's here. What's up, Trumpinator? Hello, everyone. I have an idea about how we start holding people accountable by locking them up. Stop the endless investigations and holding hearings. Is that too much to ask? It's not too much to ask from me. See, Wilkie says, if our own government had not shut down our own ability to enrich our own yellow cake uranium, we would not have to buy anything from Russia. Hanford is sitting on terrifying amounts of nuclear waste. And I think I've been accused of not paying attention to the details, right? It's all this show is all the details. I get all the details and I shake them up and I throw them out to you guys in the hopes that some of you will absorb it in. And here's the Imam of Peace, a good follow on X if you haven't followed him. It says, she married her brother, cheated on her ex-husband, stole another woman's husband, wants leniency for ISIS supporters in America, but thinks everyone else is sick. What level of filth is this? But if getting railed by your brother is so bad, why does his cock fit and has so unwashed clam? She marries her brother and we're sick. Genetically test her son. If her brother shows up in the results, she's out. We respect you for that, Jim. Well, thank you. Well, Ilhan Omar lashes out. Lashes out at sick Republicans for investigating her marriage to her brother. I can marry my brother. See, you can't tell me I can't marry my brother. Ilhan Omar lashes out at sick Republicans. We saw this. We're not going to watch this again. Rep. Omar called those concerned about whether she married her brother sick after the far-left lawmaker was approached by Fox News Digital about border czar Tom Homan, signaling that federal officials have started digging into records pertaining to the matter. Yes, smellies have no place in our government. They say she was not eligible because she was 18, not 17 or something like that. There is documentation. Yeah, plus her father lied to get him into the country. Her father said that they were persecuted by I think it's called the Bari administration. Why do I think it's a Bari? I'm wrong. Bari. Actually, her father worked for the guy. That's the story. Her brother's supposedly gay, and that the marriage was to get him school loans and stuff and get him visas to come into the country. It's all so tiresome. It is. Her father was a colonel, with the Bari government. Bari. Was it Bari or Bari? Or am I getting that wrong? Holman said last week that records and files related to Omar's immigration fraud were being pulled and looked at after Trump revived the years-old scandal amid an ongoing debate over the smelly Medicaid fraud scandal taking place in Omar's state of Minnesota. While Holman suggested that fraud likely took place, he also signaled that the crime's statute of limitation could present a problem when it comes to prosecuting Omar for any potential violations. Lies. Everywhere there's lies. Any response to what Holman is saying to the public? I have no response because I don't know what they'll be investigating. So you don't think they'll find it? Absolutely not. Why do you think they keep bringing this up? Because they're sick. They're sick individuals. Well, he doesn't look sick to me. But according to top Senate Republicans, if the allegations against Omar that she married her brother to enter the U.S. were true, she'd be breaking several laws. If this is true, then Omar faces criminal liability under 3 different statutes, says Senator Ted Cruz, Republican from Tejas. Cruz has argued that Omar could have committed federal marriage fraud, which makes knowingly entering into a marriage to evade immigration laws illegal and could result in up to 5 years in prison and a $250,000 fine and deportation. I like that last little bit there. And deportation. That's right. Get her done. What's this? Miami, doctor and mother 2 found dead naked in Dollar Tree walk-in freezer. Y'all got to learn not to drink the swamp water down there. What? Yeah, they lied about the refugee status. They were the corruption in Somalia. Yeah. Ahmed Elmi was married to Omar from 2009 to 2017. This guy. Omar was born in Smelia and came to the U.S. in 1995 after her family was granted asylum. It was a fraudulent asylum. Fraudulent asylum. In 22, Omar entered a religious marriage with Ahmed Abdi Hassaligani Hirsi, while in 2009 she legally married Ahmed Elmi, a British citizen, despite maintaining her religious union with Hirsi and continuing to have children with him. That sounds like marriage fraud to me. Shout out to my neighbor Bobby Fuxi Dowils. Oh, I'm gonna have to cut him zig. Put up. I'll have to pull that up. A gay word from space. So she still had children with the guy while she was married to this other guy. That kind of proves it was marriage fraud, doesn't it? I mean, even if it wasn't her brother, if she's still with this guy, having kids with this guy, and is religiously married to them, and nobody knew about this marriage and were hiding it, sounds like marriage fraud, irregardless. They separated in 2011, did not legally divorce until 2017. Omar married political consultant Tim Minette. What do you know? In addition to the marriage fraud, Cruz said Omar could also be breaking Minnesota state incest law, a felony in the state punishable by jail time up to 10 years. Cruz also indicated Omar could be liable for tax fraud, specifically if joint returns were filed while she was not legally married, a violation that could lead to a $100,000 fine and up to 3 years in prison. How does one join the Knights of Malta to begin with? Well, I think you have to go to Malta, or maybe you have to get what is it called? Drink Malta meal. Wasn't that thing from Christmas Story where you got to get the Coda ring? Drink more Malta meal. Was it? Was it Malta meal or what was it? I can't remember. Doctor mysteriously found dead inside Dollar Tree freezer, reportedly naked. The mother of two was discovered by an employee during opening hours on Sunday. Ovaltine. That's right, Ovaltine. Drink your Ovaltine. How about if I drink chocolate malts? You can. Fresh bread is a delicacy. Yeah. Female doctor was mysteriously found dead and possibly naked. They don't know if she was naked. I mean, wouldn't they know when they saw it? Wouldn't you know when you saw somebody if they were naked? Wouldn't you know, like, oh, this person's naked? You can imagine a medieval peasant laughing at that. Yes. An employee at the discount store's Little Havana location reported discovering a deceased woman inside the business during opening hours at 8 a.m. The Miami Police Department told Fox News Digital on Monday. The woman was identified as 32-year-old Helen Masili Garay Sanchez. Super decoder ring. That's right. That's what we got to get. The order of malted milk. Female was located inside a walk-in freezer cooler located in the store's stockroom. Public Information Officer Michael Vega said. Sanchez was also naked when she was discovered, CBS News reported, citing police scanners. So this is the woman they found, huh? She was originally from Nicaragua. She was an anesthesiologist specializing in congenital heart. Complainant found a naked female in the cooler of the store. Authorities added the surveillance footage indicated no foul play was involved. So she went and locked herself. She went and locked herself in the... don't forget to drink your Ovaltine. Yes. That's to help Little Orphan Annie. Right? Was it Little Orphan Annie? Little Orphan Annie was solving crimes or had a detective agency or something, according to that. Buy the yeast packets and flour. Dang, dollar stores are dangerous now. It's so easy, lol. Oh, wait. Amazing Disgrace is a good question. Are the Knights of Columbus opposed to the Knights of Malta, or are they in the same group? Death by cold storage. Decoder ring. Yeah. Knights of Columbus are lower on the Roman pyramid than Knights of Malta are immune. Knights of Columbus influence police policy, etc., and are also Roman problematic. Fantastic. Dollar Tree called the incident tragic. We are aware of this tragic incident, and our thoughts are with the individual's family and loved ones. We are cooperating fully with the authorities at this time. According to a GoFundMe page, Sanchez was an anesthesiologist specializing in congenital heart disease and was originally from Nicaragua. Her family and friends are now working to have her body returned to her home country where her 2 children live. Wait a minute. She said she was 20-something. She has 2 kids living in Nicaragua? That's crazy. Dr. Helen Gade passed away following a tragic accident while abroad. Pyramids are involved. Is it a pyramid scheme? I don't know. The Gallo brothers. I bet they still sold all that food that was in the freezer with her. Probably. They probably sold it all for $1 since it was a dollar store. 9,200 has been raised since Monday evening, as of Monday evening. The Dollar Tree remained closed during the investigation, but reopened late Sunday. Sunday. You. And we got this story. It says Democrat Senator Mark Kelly, leader of the Seditious Six, told U.S. troops to disobey orders. Says destroying narco, terror, or drug boats is not making any of us safer. Really, I feel much safer because those boats are trafficking cocaine, not fentanyl. Oh.
These boats carry not fentanyl. I mean, they carry cocaine and these.
Wait a minute, but didn't they all say that? I thought they were saying that these were just fishermen. These are just fishermen. Why would they be carrying cocaine? That's crazy. They're saying they're killing innocent fishermen. Cocaine fishermen. They're fishing for cocaine.
Routes carry cocaine and these routes mostly take drugs to Europe and Western Africa.
Oh.
These operations are not making us more safe. These boats.
How would they be taking drugs to Africa or Western Europe from the Eastern Pacific? I mean, what is he talking about? This guy's a fucking idiot. What an idiot. Pentagon escalates investigation into Senator Mark Kelly for serious allegations of being an idiot and a traitor. Sedition. Long hours for those fishermen. Yeah, they must do lots of cocaine so they can keep fishing. Do the boats belong to McConnell? Maybe. Serious allegations of misconduct, this guy. Department of War is escalating its review of seditious Senator Kelly, a retired Navy captain, to an official command investigation into his participation in a video dubbed seditious by President Trump and Secretary of War Pete Hegseth. This moron thinks a speedboat can make it from the American coast to Africa. He needs to be in a padded room. Yeah. So Kelly knows the cocaine trafficking routes? Clearly, he thinks he does. Where does he want to save the cocaine? Why does he want to save the cocaine so bad? And where was he when they found the baggie in the West Wing? That is a very good question. That's a very good question. Tommy Kelly, bop, 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 bop. Wait till you see the real fishmen. That's a typo. Retarded, not retired. Okay. Look at that nose. He knows. Knows cocaine. The nose knows cocaine. DOW officials announced a preliminary review on November 24th in response to the video we published with fellow Democrat lawmakers calling on the military service members and intelligence officials to refuse illegal orders from the Trump administration. Hegseth called the video despicable, reckless, and false, calling Kelly, Senator Alyssa Sluttykins, Representative Chris Deluzero, Chrissy Hula Hoop, and Maggie Homelander, and Jason Crowsfeet, the seditious six. The video made by the sick dishes six, the sick dishes sucks, was despicable, reckless, and false. You are false. Encouraging our warriors to ignore the orders of their commanders undermines every aspect of good order and discipline. They're foolish screeds, sow doubt and confusion, which only puts our warriors in more danger. While 4 of the other participants in the video are former military, Hegseth explained they are not retired, so they are no longer subject to the Uniform Code of Military Justice. The video made by the seditious six was despicable, reckless, and false. Their foolish screed sows doubt and confusion. Mark Kelly, retired Navy commander. Which is he, a commander or a captain? I mean, do they not realize that commander is right under a captain in the Navy? Commander's an 05, captain's a 06. Seems odd. Seems very, 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 very odd. Oh. He knows that. He knows what he's still doing. As well, it was announced they're reviewing his statements and actions, which were all addressed directly to all troops while explicitly using his rank and service affiliation, lending the appearance of authority to his words. Kelly's conduct brings discredit upon the armed forces and will be addressed appropriately. Yes. The investigation can result in further actions, including recalling Kelly to active duty status to initiate court-martial proceedings or administrative measures. The DOW announced and confirmed that the probe has been escalated in a Monday evening statement to Breitbart News. The Office of the Secretary of War, in conjunction with the Department of War's Office of the General Counsel, is escalating the preliminary review of Captain Mark Kelly, USN retired, to an official command investigation. Retired Captain Kelly is currently under investigation for serious allegations of misconduct. Further official comments will be limited to preserve the integrity of the proceedings. Hey, Lady Bama is here. Hello, Lady Bama. Great to see you tonight. Command investigations are conducted in various situations with Crips and Bloods and Associates of Military Law. It says CRISP and Associates Military Law, explaining that they can take place where there are alleged allegations of misconduct, breaches of discipline, or criminal activities within the command. Kelly responded to the escalation on Monday night, saying it should send a shiver down the spine of every patriotic American that the President and Secretary of War would abuse their power to come for me. What? Well, I'm going to say, what? It wasn't bad enough that Trump said I should be hanged. No, he said that treason and punishable by hanging is what he said. It's punishable. It wasn't enough for Pete Hex to threaten me with a court-martial. Now they're threatening everything I fought and served across 25 years of the U.S. Navy. I don't believe you. All because I repeated something every service member is taught. No, that's not how they're taught. You're a liar. That's not what's said. The United States has the most professional military in the world. I trust their integrity. What I don't trust is Pete Hegseth. You've been threatening that you're going to come after people if they don't disobey the orders. That's what you've been doing. So they're saying that he's corrupt. The Secretary of Defense is corrupt. Corrupt, they say. Trump and Hegseth think they'll stop me from doing what I've done every day of my adult life, fighting for this country. They've got the wrong guy. Tomorrow, the next day, I will keep doing my job representing Arizonans. Trump posted several social media posts on Truth Social about the controversial video, at one point saying that seditious behavior is punishable by death. He also reposted other people's comments on the topic. One that read, "Hang them, George Washington would." He later clarified in a radio interview with Fox News' Brian Kilmeade that he was not threatening to kill Democrat lawmakers. Of course he wasn't threatening to kill Democrat lawmakers. I'm not threatening them, but I think they're in serious trouble. I would say they're in serious trouble. I'm not threatening death, but I think they're in serious trouble. In the old days, it was death. Kelly's attorney, Paul J. Fishman, of Arnold and Porter law firm, publicly shared a letter he sent to the Secretary of Navy earlier in the day, prior to the escalation. If the executive branch were to move forward in any form, we will take appropriate legal action on Senator Kelly's behalf. Oh, you think you have that choice, that if they decide to move forward that you can sue? Where are you going to sue? Mm-hmm. Texas War Department escalates review of Mark Kelly over seditious behavior. Pentagon launches full command investigation into Senator Mark Kelly over serious misconduct allegations. Got this story. Trump files $10 billion defamation lawsuit against the BBC for doctoring January 6th speech. That's crazy. They doctored it. Why would they doctor it? President Trump filed a monster $10 billion lawsuit on Monday against the British Broadcasting Corporation, BBC, for its 2024 Panorama documentary that distorted his January 6 remarks. Trump sued the BBC for both defamation and a violation of Florida's Deceptive and Unfair Trade Practices Act for $5 billion apiece, as the president is seeking $10 billion total. The suit, filed in the Southern District of Florida federal court, was filed in a personal capacity and names BBC and BBC Studios as BBC Studios Productions as defendants. Yeah, they took a quote from like an hour apart and jammed them together to get what they wanted. Didn't they already do that earlier this year? Why would they do it again? I don't know. I don't have an answer for why they would do these things. It seems like they're making stupid mistakes that people should be aware of. The formerly respected and now disgraced BBC defamed President Trump by intentionally, maliciously, and deceptively doctoring his speech in a brazen attempt to interfere in the 2024 presidential election. The BBC has a long pattern of deceiving its audience and coverage of President Trump, all in service of its own leftist political agenda. President Trump's powerhouse lawsuit is holding BBC accountable for its defamation and reckless election interference, just as he has held other fake news mainstream media responsible for their wrongdoing. A spokesperson for Trump's legal team told Fox News Digital. On Monday, Trump told reporters that he plans to file the long-awaited lawsuit against the BBC for editing footage from January 6th to misquote his speech this afternoon or tomorrow morning. This comes after a whistleblower exposed the BBC for doctoring footage of Trump's speech at the White House ellipse to make it sound like he was inciting his supporters to riot and fight like hell after walking to the Capitol. But Trump actually said, we're going to walk down to the Capitol and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And for anyone who was there, it can also be remembered that the president repeatedly called for supporters of Mark peacefully and patriotically. Hey, American Dreamer, member for 1 month. Appreciate you. Love Bella. Well, thank you. He'll get enough to build a second ballroom. Sounds like it, maybe. Below is a side-by-side clip of the edited version of a speech versus what he actually said. So,
We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and I'll be there with you. And we fight. We fight like hell. We're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women.
Wow, that's crazy, right? That they would do such a thing. Trump said last month that he plans to sue them for anywhere between $1 billion and $5 billion. And on Monday, Trump told reporters,
one man is being victimized by our own government.
Huh. On Monday, Trump told reporters in the Oval Office, in a little while, you'll be seeing I'm suing BBC for putting words in my mouth. They've actually had me speaking with words I never said. They got caught because I believe somebody at BBC said it was so bad it has to be reported. That's called fake news, people. It's called fake news, people. He continued, so we'll be filing that suit probably this afternoon or tomorrow morning. It's going to be a big suit. It's going to be really big. It's going to be big a suit, bigly. Okay, let's see.
In a little while, you'll be seeing I'm suing the BBC for putting words in my mouth, literally. They put words in my mouth. They had me saying things that I never said coming out. I guess they used AI or something. So we'll be bringing that lawsuit. A lot of people are asking, when are you bringing that lawsuit? Even the media can't believe that one. They actually put terrible words in my mouth having to do with January 6th that I didn't say. And the beautiful words that I said, right? The beautiful words, talking about patriotism and all of the good things that I said, they didn't say that, but they put terrible words. They actually have me speaking with words that I never said, and they got caught because I believe somebody at BBC said, this is so bad, it has to be reported. That's called fake news. So we'll be filing that suit probably this afternoon or tomorrow morning. I want to thank all of you for being here. If you have any questions, I guess you could ask, but this is really a day of celebration for these people. The job they've done is really unprecedented. So go ahead.
Oh, that was a good...
You're using, and this is what I've seen.
No. The president's announcement came after he recognized 13 service members with the Mexican Border Defense Medal to award them for assisting Customs Border Patrol at the U.S.-Mexico border. Oh, what do we got here? We got American Dreamer for 10. Thank you so much. No comment, though, but thank you. With that, we are now $90 away from a second additional hour. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Yes, thank you, hon. Thank you so much. I think, do I have to restart the goal? Did the goal end in time, or did it get in there? Let me, I have to restart the goal for another hour because we did get to the first additional hour. So let me do this real quick. Let me go in here, start another goal for 1 hour. I'm going to do this, 10 super chats, 20 super chats, 5 for 1 hour. Paste. No, wrong message. Damn it. I hate when that happens. Gotta do this the correct way. Really, you're gonna do that? It's gonna... Okay. Top chat, live chat. Do this. Goal. Start another goal. 20 super chats. 1 hour. We are currently $90 away from the second additional hour. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So much. Trump also signed an executive order designating fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction and empower his administration to take on the concentrated large-scale terror attacks by organized adversaries. They will continue to. They will likely be used to justify the defense of America against drug cartels further, as the order directs the Secretary of War and Secretary of Homeland Security to update all directives regarding the armed forces' response to chemical incidents in the homeland to include the threat of illicit fentanyl. Trump signs executive order to designate fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. He signed an EO designating fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. So they're gonna be classifying fentanyl as a potential chemical weapons threat. You want to see Paris, but I'll never get to. I always wanted to go to Australia. Now, with Trump's new classification of the deadly poison as a WMD, it's likely to be used to justify America's attacks. HR Biggs, what's up, man? Damn it, Jim. What did I do? What did I do wrong? Fentanyl is super duper bad now. Super duper extra bad. So the production and sale of fentanyl by foreign terrorist organizations and cartels fund these entities' operations, which include assassinations, terrorist acts, and insurgencies around the world, and allow these entities to erode our domestic security as well as well-being of our nation. The two cartels that are predominantly responsible for the distribution of fentanyl in the United States engage in armed conflict over territory and to protect their operations, resulting in large-scale violence and death that go beyond the immediate threat of fentanyl itself. Further, the potential for fentanyl to be weaponized for concentrated large-scale terror attacks by organized adversaries is a serious threat to the United States. It further directs the Secretary of War and the Attorney General to determine whether the threats posed by illicit fentanyl and its impact on the United States warrant the provision of resources from the Department of War to the Department of Justice to aid in the enforcement of 18 U.S.C. as consistent with 10 U.S.C. 282. Secretary of War and Secretary of Homeland Security are ordered to update all directives regarding the armed forces' response to chemical incidents in the homeland. Every day I need 1.5 ounces of what, fentanyl? That's a lot. During a Mexican border defense medal presentation this afternoon to honor service members assisting Customs and Border Protection at the U.S.-Mexico border, Trump announced he was also signing the executive order to classify fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. That's why I'm taking one more step to protect Americans from the scourge of deadly fentanyl flooding into our country, which is this historic order I will sign today. We are formally classifying fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. No bomb does what it is doing. 200 to 300,000 people die each year. That's what we know of. Don't show my post. Please and thank you. Okay. HR Biggs. Sorry, I show everybody's post. That was weird. YouTube yeeted me out, and I had to restart my TV and phone. Hey, what's up, Snarf? Watch out for that limb, Jim. We may have a problem, Jim. What? What's the problem? What's up? Julio's here. Julio Scissors is here. Does that mean you will no longer be used in human vet or veterinary medicine? I don't know. I mean, if they're classified as a weapon of mass destruction, wouldn't that mean it can't be used in hospitals anymore? Because it's used in hospitals. So then hospitals have weapons of mass destruction. I mean, these are things that are all very... They are watching. Don't move. Somebody's here. Everyone knows these monitors are two-way. Uh-oh. Somebody's watching me. That's why today I'm taking the steps. So he did that. Dark side of the moon. We got this news today, which was good. U.S. oil and gas industry sets production records in November, led by Tejas. So thanks to the folks down in Tejas, the U.S. oil and gas industry set production records in November. Mm-hmm. Wow, look at that. Oil whales. U.S. oil and natural gas industry set records for production in November. Oil output reached an estimated 5.9 million barrels per day in November, the highest level ever recorded in U.S. history, according to the U.S. Energy Information Agency data. Even with fewer rigs operating this year, productivity gains in regions like the Permian Basin and Eagle Ford Shale show the efficiency and innovation of Texas producers. The Texas Oil and Gas Association states in a new quarterly perspective. Perspective. Hey, Julio Scissors with a gifted membership. Thank you, Julio. Thank you so much. Let's see who got that membership. Tolly 29, Tolly 29 received the gifted membership from Julio Scissors. Thank you. And with that puts us now just $84 away from a second additional hour. Just 84 away from a second additional hour. Hail Julio. Well, thank you. California and New York closing refineries. Great avatar. Texas is America's energy anchor, leading in production. More than 42% of U.S. crude oil and nearly 30% of U.S. marketed natural gas originates in Tejas. 10 counties in the U.S. and Texas and New Mexico account for 93% of domestic oil production in the last 4 years. Wow. 10 counties in the U.S. and Texas and New Mexico account for 93%. That's a lot. They are located in the Permian Basin in southeastern New Mexico and far west Texas, which produces roughly half of the crude oil and 1/5 of the natural gas in the country. The basin spans more than 86,000 square miles, roughly 10 times the size of New Jersey. 10 times the size of New Jersey. In the third quarter, TXOGA forecasted that global oil demand was on track to set new records. The fourth quarter strengthened that outlook. You have no idea how much the oil men down here were waiting for Trump to say, drill, baby, drill. It's mini Jersey. Mini Jersey. The EIA raised demand estimates twice this quarter, including a significant 500,000 barrels a day upward revision, and now expects demand to increase by nearly 1 million barrels a day per year through 2026. This supports a central point we have made all year. A record-sized global economy requires record volumes of oil across freight, aviation, petrochemicals, and industrial use. Supply remains the key swing variable. In November, the EIA increased its global oil demand estimates, still expected a record, but at high levels. Also, with a higher supply from the U.S. and other non-OPEC producers, costs should decrease. Foreman notes the EIA baseline assumes the increase of 2.8 billion barrels per day in global supply in 2025 and an increase of 1.3 million barrels a day in 2026, driven mostly by long lead non-OPEC projects. Yes, as long as it stays in the U.S. and it's not shipped off. That's right. The EIA also assumes U.S. supply growth will slow to 0.2 million barrels a day in 2026. He notes repeating a pattern of conservative projections. Foreman doesn't agree, adding the data suggests otherwise. Permian Basin rig productivity in October was up by 14.1% year over year. Eagle Ford rig productivity was up 8.7% year over year. Texas combined crude oil and natural gas production increased by 5.8% year to date through November, despite operating with 20% fewer rigs. When it comes to natural gas production, natural gas is entering a new era, and Texas is leading the way. U.S. liquefied natural gas, LNG, exports surged this year. The U.S. is on track to surpass Russia as the world's largest natural gas exporter. That means our costs go up, folks, just so you know. If we're selling it all other places, that means our cost here in the U.S. is going to go up for natural gas. That's why that affects a lot of people's electric bills. The higher the cost of natural gas, the higher your electric bills are going to be. That's just simple math. Simple math tells you that. Tells you that's simple maths. Production will be enhanced by additional pipelines built in Texas. Foreman notes more than 20 BCFD is underway. I think it's 20 billion cubic feet. I think that's what that means. 25 plus billion cubic feet have been announced to meet the future LNG demands. U.S. natural gas net exports surged 42% year over year in November. Foreman notes that the LNG projects have several strengths, including avoiding spot market dependence via long-term procurement. Rig productivity remains strong, reinforcing supply resilience, and the Permian Basin associated gas is unlikely to decline sharply. Texas remains the most reliable energy supplier in the United States. It's on track to reach more than $220 billion in energy exports this year alone. In a world seeking reliable, stable energy, Texas continues to deliver. Texas oil and natural gas producers are strengthening America's position globally, supporting allies abroad, and ensuring affordable, dependable energy at home. Billion cubic feet per day. Okay. Continued production growth, even as the rig counts decline, highlights Texas's efficiency gains and operational discipline. In a year marked by inflation pressures, Texas Energy has quietly delivered something essential: reliability, affordability for U.S. households and global consumers. Don't shock Bella. Oh, okay. I won't. D&H Canal. They are stealing our precious bodily fluids. That's a mighty big amount, Audra. It is. Mighty big. Mighty big. We got this story. What? Why would it tell me? Damn it. It's making me. Wouldn't let me open this damn thing. Why? There we go. So, and this says, as I predicted, it says U.S. oil futures dropped below $55 a barrel for the first time since 2021. West Texas Intermediate oil fell below $55 a barrel for the first time since February 2021. The latest sign that crude supplies are outpacing demand as the market braces for a large surplus. I don't know if you guys remember during the whole pandemic, the scamdemic, when they were shutting everything down, that oil futures and options and stuff basically went to almost zero. They were like having to let people just take it for free to take delivery. How is gas gathered from the ground? I think it's the same way oil is. There's a pipe and they get it out. I thought that's how they do it. Earlier in the session, global benchmark Brent fell below 60 a barrel for the first time since May. What is going on here? Why is this? Why is this? Oh, so it's okay. This just says oil prices dropped below 60, lowest level since May. I don't know why I had that before. It wasn't messed up like that. All right, on to this story. We have the White House ballroom project could come to a stop. They're suing to try to stop Trump from building the White House President's ballroom. That's crazy.
Tuesday morning, and a new hearing is threatening to halt President Donald Trump's multi-million-dollar ballroom project, at least temporarily.
It comes as the Trump administration pushes back hard, arguing it's a matter of national security. Our Jess Arnold is live outside the White House this morning with what's at stake. Jess?
Yeah, well, the National Trust for Historic Preservation filed a lawsuit on Friday asking the federal judge to halt the construction on this ballroom project until these plans go through congressional approval, through multiple independent reviews, as well as receiving public input. Now, the administration countered that it would pose a security risk, that the Secret Service said it currently does not meet the structure standards for their safety protocols, and so they can't stop it. At this point, they offered to share more details privately with just the judge. Now, we do know here at this point that there used to be an emergency operations bunker for the president under the East Wing. The National Park Service's liaison to the White House said right now construction is focused on the below ground structure, with above ground work not expected until at least April 2026, and that final plans for the ballroom have yet to be finalized. The trust lawsuit says the president should have submitted the plans to multiple national commissions and Congress before any demolition, saying this construction is illegal. The administration counters that the president does have the authority to greenlight the plans for this 90,000 square foot and $300 million ballroom. Now, the Justice Department also says that the trust cannot prove irreparable harm until this construction begins. Again, not until at least next April, which is a bit of a catch-22 there, but ultimately that they cannot halt this because demolition already happened on the East Wing. And so this current national security risk, they say, outweighs any of these other concerns.
Yeah, they're suing about the ballroom.
Now it's all up to the judge. We'll have to see what they say at a hearing later on today, guys.
Yeah, they're suing about the ballroom again, but, you know, the problem is going to be that because the bunker, the president's bunker is under that East Wing, and that's what they're. I think that's another reason they were doing this is because they needed to update the bunker. So, Hey, what's up? Richard's here. What's up? What the F is going on here, Steve? With what? Where's Steve? I didn't even see Steve. Steve, I haven't seen Steve in a while. Hey, you, Steve. What's up? I hate liberals. Yes, back on the ballroom again. Probably a cover build for a needed deeper, larger bunker. That's what I'm thinking it is. What's this says? Nas Carmone. Yet here in New York, we haven't moved from 291 for the past 6 to 8 months. I guess our governor is making us pay as usual. Yeah, I won't go anywhere. I'm just as frivolous. It's just as frivolous at this point. It won't go anywhere. Yeah. Well, who knows? The judge might order. Oh, you have to stop construction. Who knows? The judge has been ordering shit that they have no authority to do anyway. Who of us wouldn't like a nice ballroom and a lockdown bunker, right? A good engaging chat, Mr. Parker. Jump in. The water's warm. Hi there, Richard. What's up from Audra? Rich man, tear up a new one. Yeah, security risk, tunnels might show up. Yep. That's right. You're fucking with Audra? Oh, okay. If Trump names it the Obama Ballroom, they would fall over themselves to support it. I heard he's going to name it the... howdy, Audra. I heard he was going to name it the Eagle's Nest. Yes. In the latest watch, the CNN bizarre hack as meltdown declares Trump's donor-funded ballroom is turning America into a banana republic. That's just funny. They're going to sue one of the world's most successful construction magnates over construction. Yeah, it is. It's retarded. I switched to boxers from tidy whities when I needed ballroom. Oh, good one. Yeah, F Obama. In the latest bonkers meltdown over President Trump's White House ballroom, which is being funded by private donors rather than at taxpayer expense, Hack CNN contributor Van I'm a Communist Jones went absolutely ballistic in a bizarre freakout on air in which he declared that putting a ballroom in by the White House is turning America into a banana republic. Well, I mean, it would if they were going to have Bananarama perform there singing their famous song. As background, the precipitating factor for Jones's freakout was that the president had knocked down an ugly FDI-era office complex to build the ballroom and has since been sued for having done so by the National Trust for Historic Preservations, which is just another left-wing group masquerading as Van Commie Jones. CNN host Caitlin Collins asked Van Jones about the suit, which set off his remarks. Yes, I'd rather pay for ballroom than Kool-Aid for Schmellies. He wouldn't even know about bananas. Yeah. Polls just be sucking for the Dems. They're not only throwing the kitchen sink, but the bathroom sink too. Right, vegan? Yeah. We need to rebuild our reserves. Van that man right out of here. Yeah. When Carmela is president, she can host drag shows in there. Lowest here is down to 256 in real IREC. The assessment of the East Wing has had real issues that made more sense to strip down post past foundation. That's what they say. The CNN hack contributor responded with a lengthy, tiresome attempt to summarize the unitary executive theory, which originally became popular under the Bush administration. Here's the thing. The unitary executive theory is the fucking Constitution. The Constitution says the executive power will be vested in a president, not a president and other people, not all these other people that work for the government. No, a president. A president, a unitary president. This unitary executive fixation that basically says the president can do whatever the president wants to do is not just Congress that passes the bill you're talking about. These are bills signed by Congress, passed by Congress, and signed by the president. You say you have to do things a certain way. Oh, really? Okay. Well, the Constitution says otherwise, commie. He tried to connect Trump presidencies, insisting President Trump in general just using executive powers to do what he was elected to do rather than working with the buffoons in Congress. Let's see. Is this actually going to have a video here? Okay, let's see.
Well, but I just think that this is what we often hear from our good Republican friends is, I like the outcome, so the process doesn't matter. That's what
you fucking Dems do all the time.
Country. That's what happens with a dictatorship. It turns out the process does matter in a democracy. Rules matter in democracy. Something called rule of law. And what if you want to make America great again? How did America get great in the first place? Rule of law, free markets, everybody welcome if you follow the rules. If you have a lawless country, meaning the executive branch does whatever it wants to, you're on the path to being a banana republic. So it's not that people, maybe this big golden ball thing with golden toilets, I have no idea what he's doing. Maybe people will like it, but if it's that great, why not follow the rules?
What are the rules?
I think the golden toilet is at the Met here in New York. But actually, Ellie, to Scott's point.
Why is everybody so definitive? Hold on.
Hold on, Scott. I'm about to say something.
There are rules. Like everybody seems to think he's. I don't know that they believe that. You might be wrong, man. You don't know.
Hey guys, still going on about the ballroom. I see. Yes, the privately funded ballroom that will make the White House, more accommodating, more grand. These are all good things here. Is at the top of my list for electing Donald Trump. Be like, you know what? I really want an update to the East Wing. Like, no, it wasn't on my radar. Do I care that he's doing it? No. Can you walk and chew gum at the same time? Like, turns out you can, or should be at least, deporting all the illegals in the country, denaturalizing and sending Ilhan Omar back to Somalia against her will. I'm a single issue voter when it comes to politics. I want whoever will denaturalize. And I think we could even skip the denaturalization process. I'm just a fan. Whoever is going to send Ilhan Omar back to Somalia and deny her entry into the country, that's who gets my vote at this point. Because it'd be a proxy for so many wonderful other things that would be happening as well. So closing the border, deporting Ilhan Omar, executing most criminal offenders, repeat offenders here. Maybe you get one chance in my world. If it's bad enough, you get executed after the first crime. If you're kind of a repeat offender, though, at a certain point, you just don't want to fit into society, publicly execute them as well. I'll vote for whoever institutes that again.
I don't know where this came from.
So the ballroom wasn't on my radar, but also I don't care. See, if Donald Trump were doing none of
Why? Where did this come from? President Ballroom, which I'm building at the White House, will all private donations and zero cost to the American taxpayer, will be at its completion the most beautiful and spectacular ballroom anywhere in the world. It's something that has been needed and desired at the White House for over 150 years, but something which no other president was equipped to do, but I am. And as long as we're going to do it, we're going to do it right. It will be a magnificent addition to the White House, most important building since the West Wing. Van Jones is ex-son-in-law to Billy Beer Carter. Really? Wow. I think a pool was floored over and made a bowling alley and became the press briefing room. Yeah, there was a pool there, and then there was the bowling alley got put in, and they're always doing stuff, so it's all just bullshit. Obama put in a fucking basketball court. Yeah, Trump defends the ballroom as a national security matter.
The East Wing of the White House is being demolished so that Donald Trump can construct a ballroom where he will be celebrated like a king.
He's talking about building a ballroom. Let that sink in for working people in this country.
Donald Trump is telling the American people, no Medicaid for you. The ballroom for me.
I just want to put a fine point on this. They have time to talk about some construction at a White House, and there's a long list of presidents who've done the same. They have time for that, but they could not agree by several Democrats not voting for a bill, a lifeline for shutdown workers right now, for those essential workers. They're fake. Full meltdown mode for some Democrats and people on the left. It is all over President Trump's new White House ballroom, and it's an estimated $300 million project paid for by the president himself and private donors. New satellite images show the before and after of the East Wing. That was a major topic at yesterday's White House briefing. A lot going on in the world, and it got very feisty.
Can the president tear down anything he wants without oversight? Can he demolish this building or say the Jefferson Memorial?
Is the president looking at any other renovations or significant kind of projects here at the White House?
This is the people's house.
Why not inform the public of that change and when it was decided?
No. The People's House is the House of Representatives. The House of Representatives is the People's House. What the fuck are they talking about?
Decided that the East Wing would have to be demolished.
Look, again, with any construction project, changes come, and we have informed all of you. The East
is tearing down two different things.
Well, again, the plans changed when the president heard counsel from the architects and the construction companies who said that in order for this East Wing to be modern and beautiful for many, many years to come, for it to be a truly strong and stable structure, this phase one that we're now in was necessary. And the president wants to do right by the People's House. And so that's exactly what he's doing.
All right, so a long history of renovations at the White House. You can take a look at what some of the past presidents have done. And I mean, you see some of the same places that are being redone right now have been done before. The White House dating back hundreds of years. And here is Republican Senator Markwayne Mullin.
There's a long list of presidents that have done this over the years. The only thing is the difference between when they did it and what's happening now is the president in the White House is actually funding the majority of the renovation, and the rest of it is being paid by personal donors, not taxpayers.
The Trump administration is even trolling Democrats over their ballroom outrage. The White House website launched an official timeline of historical events and included scandals that plagued former Democrat presidencies. They include Bill Clinton's 1998 affair with Monica Lewinsky, the cocaine found during Biden's presidency in 2023, and Focus Now Lisa Booth, Fox News political analyst. Now, out of the corner of our eye, we're watching where Letitia James will come out and talk about the charges against her after trying.
There's always so much going on these days.
Not guilty. So you and I are both watching that monitor. If we have to go, we will. Your thoughts?
Well, there's always so much going on, as you just pointed out. Look, I think a lot of things can be true at the same time here. And first of all, what we just heard from his critics and from these Democrats, this isn't for him, these changes, right? This is for the country. This is for future presidents as well. He will not be in the White House forever. So these changes he's making is for the country and for the future. You know, and look, we're sort of used to Trump derangement syndrome at this point. Like, Democrats are just reflexively, everything Trump does, they have to be against it. He's joked he could cure cancer, and they would be against it. There'd probably be lawsuits. They'd probably try to stop the curing of cancer if they could.
Would.
You know, that being said, it is a little jarring to see demolition done to the East Wing. So I can see how some people might be offended by that or might have some issue with that.
Do you think most people even know the difference between the East and the West Wing?
They probably don't, if we're being honest, Harris. And to President Trump's point, presidents of the past have made changes to the White House. Also, my understanding of the law is the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966. The White House is exempt from that. Now, his critics are saying that he's exceeding that authority. There have already been lawsuits. Of course, with everything with President Trump, there's always going to be lawsuits. Anything he's trying to do is going to be challenged, inevitably.
So Jackie Kennedy had to, you know, she and her husband had their money gone through Congress and all that. It was $376 million.
Well,
okay, and maybe there was some extra money thrown in by private donors. That part of the story we're still researching. I don't know how opaque or transparent that would be anyway for anybody, because it's a donation. I don't know. But $376 million back then of taxpayer money. This right now is put at $250 with the president putting cash in and private donors. Construction always can balloon and cost more. But wow. And she redid the Rose Garden, too, by the way.
Well, and I think the point that President Trump is making with this is valid. He's saying he doesn't want to do these state dinners, these big events with world leaders on the tents on the South Lawn, right? You look at the East Wing. I think it's the largest space for, big events. And it can only has about 200 people. He's trying to do a ballroom that can fit, 999 people. We'll see if there's changes, 90,000 square foot ballroom. And again, these changes aren't for him. These are for future presidents as well. And then you look at these critics who are always hypocritical, like Gavin Newsom, and you look at changes being made to the state capitol in California. It went from $500 million to over $1 billion. It's been shrouded in secrecy. There's been accusations of NDAs, and that's taxpayers on the hook for that. And here, this is done by private money, including the president's, and we're not paying for it as taxpayers.
That's right. We're not paying for it as taxpayers. So why does everyone care? It just says the Secret Service is halting Trump's White House ballroom construction could compromise security. There you go. White House ballroom construction is a matter of national security. Trump administration defends ballroom as national security. And we got this story. I'm going to get into this in a second, but first let me address some of the stuff. They're just making shit up as they go along. That's what they do. After all these years, they could have had some structural issues with it, sure. It's being removed along with the First Lady's offices, but she was worried about the gardens and the money wasted. Lol, there's really no help for them. She just answered my question. The sky is falling as music to my ears. Odds are the East Wing space sucked. It was done cheaply in the 1940s. It was dingy and mold infested. I was in it twice, and my allergies to mold were set off both times. Ballroom is better than a basketball court. I even had to explain the renovations Lincoln did, and that was the first debt we had. She was just had a blank look as she moved away from me like I had the plague. Okay. Leave it to Tard Chicom to mix up protected structures under the National Trust. Yeah. Another DEI gift Maryland TV News foisted on the U.S. Yeah. Don't know, don't care. Even if it was not to be difficult, bureaucrats want to be bureaucrats. Anyone doing anything without a billion forms being filed and stamps being put is a huge no-no. Does anyone know when the Carmelo Anthony trial will happen? I need to know if it's legal to murder white people. I see that dog is getting ready to take care of some stuff there, Decimal Threat. We come in peace. Faulkner has a swan-like neck. Decimal, it seems it is. The man who killed the young boy 5 wasn't charged that I know of. Thank you so much for letting me know. President Trump is a construction guy, so he would know, especially if there's a mold issue. I remember when they complained about Michelle's paintings being removed. Yeah. Anthony trial is set for the 1st of June, 26. Oh, do y'all remember the boy was in his yard riding his bike? I wish you remember the name. Yeah, I do remember that case. I can't remember the name. He was killed by the neighbor. Yeah. They're just pissed because it'll be known as the Trump ballroom. Yeah, I agreed. I said it should remain during the demo. Okay. They'd be up in arms if we used taxpayer monies. Trump believes Russia-Ukraine talks could end the war. That to end the war could be closer now than ever. President Trump was optimistic in his update to America on Russia-Ukraine talks shortly after speaking with a number of European leaders about the matter. Trump shared the latest on the efforts to bring the war to a close at the top of a Mexican Border Defense Medal presentation in the Oval Office. I think we're closer now than we ever have been. Well, I guess we have a video to play.
We had a very good conversation 1 hour ago with the European leaders, many of them involving the war with Russia and Ukraine. We had a long discussion, and things are seemingly going well, but we've been saying that for a long time, and it's a difficult one. We had, as you know, settled 8 wars, and one was having a little problem yesterday, Thailand and Cambodia. We were able to straighten that out. There's some killing going on that shouldn't have happened. We appreciate them working to get it straightened out, and they have. The security protocols yesterday were amazing, and they have been amazing, having to do with Russia and Ukraine. And I had a long talk with President Zelensky. Also, I spoke with the heads of Germany, Italy, NATO, Finland, France, United Kingdom, Poland, Norway, Denmark, and the Netherlands. We had very long and very good talks. And again, I think things are going along pretty well. 27,000 soldiers were killed last month. Shouldn't happen. Should have never happened. Should have never started. That war should have never ever started. But it did, and we're trying to get it solved. That was Biden's situation. We're trying to get it done. And I think we're closer now, and they will tell you that they're closer now. We had numerous conversations with President Putin of Russia. And I think we're closer now than we have been ever. And we'll see what we can do. We want to save a lot of lives. We sell equipment to NATO. We don't spend any money, but we do want to see if we can save a lot of lives. When you're losing 25,000 to 30,000 soldiers, mostly soldiers, other people too, from towns, and like places like Kiev, various other places throughout Ukraine, it's pretty bad. Nobody's seen anything like it, actually, since World War II. But we're getting closer. We're having tremendous support from European leaders. They want to get it ended also. And at this moment, Russia wants to get it. And the problem is they'll want to get it ended, and then all of a sudden they won't. And Ukraine will want to get it ended, and all of a sudden they won't. So we have to get them on the same page. But I think that's working along. Very good talk.
Oh, that's awesome. Douglas Dauntless says there's a presidential address tomorrow night. Yes, I know. I thought it was tonight. I saw something, and then but it was a Hanukkah celebration tonight. I didn't. I thought, but so yeah, tomorrow I think at 9 p.m. Europe is insane. Watch North Carolina. Rachel North. Oh, okay. Can't be up in arms already. Their lawsuits would be worded differently, but if the money was being funneled to Islamic countries, they'd be partying. I can't remember. Gun. Mold and spying devices planted everywhere. Did I watch the shit show by Good Logic tonight? I caught some of it. I don't know. Cannon Hinnett, that's the kid who got killed in the yard by the neighbor, if I remember correctly. That is his name. I don't know what was he covering. I know he was covering stuff about. I know he was covering some stuff today. Oh, excuse me. Sorry. Oh man. Whew. I don't know what he was covering exactly, but I was in and out. I had other stuff going on. Life sentence that guy got? Alfred plea, no parole. Okay.
We had very good.
Trump said the death from the war has been unseen since World War II. He also stressed the importance of getting both sides on the same page. Russia wants to get it ended. It's a problem. They want to get it ended, and then all of a sudden they won't, and then Ukraine wants to get it ended, and then all of a sudden they won't. They need to get their shit together. I liked when Trump said, none of these people know what the F they're doing. Trump says, end to the Russia war, Ukraine war is closer than ever. And then you got this, you got defense giants say, investors should still bet on them as hopes for a Russia-Ukraine peace deal spark sell-off. So the military industrial complex says, don't abandon us. We're still going to have wars to fought, stuff to pay for wars. So he did a half hour on Ilhan Omar and then 2 hours on a hit piece by Vanity Fair, and he believed every word they printed. Well, yeah, I don't know why anybody from the Trump administration would do any interviews with Vanity Fair. If they're that should have been recorded by them. That way they could say, no, that's not, you know what I mean? They should make, like Trump does whenever he does interviews, he has it separately recorded. That way, if they fuck around, he can release the actual footage. There seems to be a pattern of plea deals within the race killer community, though. Wonder what they don't want to come out in trials. That's what you thought? Okay. European defense stocks fell on Tuesday after President Trump said negotiations were closer than ever to securing a peace deal for Ukraine. See, I mean, I don't know why the stocks would go down. I mean, everyone still needs to replenish their own stocks. Yeah. They didn't. That's the point. Okay. Representatives for German defense giants Hensoldt and Rank told CNBC that they are still an investment case for regional military contractors, saying that Russia will remain a threat to the continent even if there's peace. We see the threat scenario in Europe and globally unchanged and at the highest since the end of the Cold War, spokesman for German vehicle system manufacturer Rank said. I've heard that Susie did record it and there's an original transcript, and I haven't personally looked for it. Okay. Ukrainian servicemen operate a Soviet-made T-72 tank in the Sumy region near the border with Russia on August 12th, 2024, amid the Russian invasion of Ukraine. Trump doesn't hire stupid people. Well, not this time anyway. Well, I don't know. Okay, if you say so. Some of Europe's biggest military contractors urged investors not to cash out of the sector on Tuesday as stocks stalled off in the hopes of a peace deal. President Trump's special envoy, Steve Witkoff, and his son-in-law, Jared Kushner, joined the peace talks with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Berlin over the weekend. Zelensky said during the talks that Kyiv was willing to give up its NATO membership ambitions. Well, what? You ain't getting it anyway. As Rackets and others have said, most lawyers prefer to avoid trials as much as possible. Yeah, if you don't have to go to trial, why would you? It's unpredictable. American officials then told reporters a peace deal was close to completion, while U.S. President Trump said negotiators were closer now than we have ever been to stopping the conflict. Talks are expected to continue into the weekend. European defense stocks sold off on Tuesday as investors weighed the news, with some big names extending losses from the previous day. The regional Stocks Aerospace and Defense Index lost 1.8%. The Swedish fighter jet maker Saab leading losses on a 4.8% fall. Italy's Leonardo finishing down 3.9%, and Germany's Rheinmetall ending at 4.5% lower. We're also among those seeing the biggest declines. I don't know why anyone would sell out of Rheinmetall. Rheinmetall makes all the barrels for all of our tanks. That's where our barrels come from, Rheinmetall. Rheinmetall makes the best machine guns in the world, just if anyone was interested. They still make, it's called the MG7, I think, or something like that, or the MG8 or something. I can't remember the name of what they call it now, but it's basically the MG42. The same German MG42, just chambered in 7.62 by 51. But I'm with you, Jim. They all, including Trump, need to refuse to do any interviews or press conferences without any mockingbirds. That's right. Great uncertainty at all stages, yes. Defense giants say the threat of Russia remains. MG3, okay, that's what they call it now, the MG3. I knew it was something like that. It was real simple. But it was the... it's the same gun as the MG42. And that just lets you know that the Germans kind of knew what they were doing when it came to building machine guns, because the design for basically is Magic Barrels. No, but that's the company that makes the barrels for like all the like 105, 155 millimeter like howitzers and stuff. I'm pretty sure all come from Rheinmetall. Declines after record profits. Yeah. I just think that in those cases, the trial should be mandatory so we get answers. Well, we can't. We can't force a trial if someone wants to plead guilty. It's their right to do. We did beat them in World War II. Well, that's okay. Yeah, we did. A cessation of hostilities would give Russia the opportunity to reconstitute its military capabilities from a European security perspective. The underlying threat remains and could even intensify. Abrams uses licensed Rheinmetall 120 millimeter. That's what I thought. Like all the howitzers, all the tanks. I thought all that stuff comes from Rheinmetall because they have a formula for this metal that makes it like. Germany is having severe economic crisis due to energy costs. Yes. Well, they wouldn't if somebody wouldn't have blown up that Nord Stream 2 pipeline. Factories shutting down. Yes. Against this backdrop, defense readiness continues to be a structural necessity for Europe. Heinz Hensoldt, representative, said the company's business exposure to Ukraine is limited, accounting for a single-digit percentage of revenues. The company's stock, which has more than doubled in value this year, finished 3.6% lower on Tuesday. So it doubled this year and then dropped 3.6%. Yeah, I think they have nothing to complain. Does ring metal use U.S. standard 120 millimeter? Well, here's the thing. The U.S. uses imperial measurements, not metric. We're on an imperial system because we are the empire of America, and we use imperial measurements. Dresden VW plant closed after 88 years, could not build anymore. Wow. Jim, you should grow a beard. I bet you could pull it off. It's the Ulfbert sword of tank metal, maybe. Power outages, Vlad's cold cities. Okay. Our growth trajectory is primarily driven by large, long-term programs in Germany and across Europe, the spokesman told CNBC on Tuesday, pointing to a three-digit million euro contract to equip the German Armed Forces reconnaissance vehicles with software and advanced sensors, and projects under the European Sky Shield Initiative. Well, that almost sounds like Skynet. Many of the firm's contracts will continue in 26 and beyond, they added. A representative for German vehicle system manufacturer Rank, a contractor to more than 70 armies across the globe, acknowledged an elevated level of volatility in the European defense stocks anytime there is news surrounding a potential peace deal or ceasefire in Ukraine. Decimal Threat says, I've been fighting my laptop for control of my chat. Autocorrect is directing me to the opposite of my intentions. We create NATO standards, do we not? No, we created, actually, the whole 762 by 51 is 308, and they just transferred it. The same thing with 223. The original, the first 223 Remington was converted to 556 for NATO purposes because of NATO, but it still was started off as 223. Rachel Boone says, rant. Let's see what it is. Here we go. Here's a $5 for the beard fund. You'll need some beard oil. Lol. Thank you, neurodivergent one. I will, I guess I could try to grow a beard. It's never really, I used to have a goatee and stuff, but I never really, they took a hunting cartridge and upped the case pressure. Yeah. Thank you. And with that, we are now, 79 doll hairs away from a second additional hour. Thank you so much. Yeah, exactly. Our standards converted into math for idiots. Uh-huh. Well, you know, that's what they say. Uh-huh. They added, while we were very much welcome peace in Ukraine for the Ukrainian people, we see the threat scenario in Europe and globally unchanged and highest since the end of Cold War. Rank share price, which has gained 194% year to date. So that's, you know, that's tripled. It's almost tripled year to date, ended with, so it's tripled and then dropped 4.3%. Yeah, I wouldn't be worrying about it. Wow, look at this. Whoa, 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 whoa. It's still up quite a bit. Yeah, Jim's goatee was so offensive, some of his hair quit in disgust. That's right, it did. My dad tried an Amish beard once for the lulz. It took all the women in the family to convince him to shave it. Pretty sure he just wanted to be ornery. Ornery. Incoming unearthly riding atlas. Okay. Ask your wife before you grow it. Do what she says, not the chat. I don't have a wife. I got rid of her years ago. Not like, we got divorced many, almost 20 years ago. 18 years ago. Can you show the 5-year? I don't know what that means. Only 2 days away. Can I show the 5-year? 6 foot speedy divorce. No. Europeans, NATO members have committed to the 3.5% spending target until 2035. Leading to a structural long-term growth environment in the military budgets. Jim just scored 10 points on the Richard scale. Oh, thank you. Yeah. Woohoo, single man. Yes, I am single. I mean, I've dated some girls, but, you know, honestly, it's oh, the graphic display 5-year stretch. You want to see this 5-year stock prices. Oh, okay. Hold on. 5-year. Okay. So here's the 5-year. It was pretty. These companies didn't come. Wow, look at these companies. They didn't start tracking this company until 2024. So this is rank and half. These are the two groups. These two different companies. So it was really high. Here, what was this? So at this point, it was $80. So it's actually down quite a bit. It dropped a lot. It was up. It spiked. This is like a crazy thing here. These couple of spikes these days. This is like big trades. Yeah, Europe's defense sector has seen a meteoric rise this year amid Ukraine's war and commitments from regional governments. The pledges are widely expected to boost European firms' bottom lines. Sorry. Hey, Jay Legots here says, I'm late. But here's the, all right. I've been divorced for 22 years. Red finger number 1. Yeah. The juice ain't worth the squeeze. Yeah. I mean, honestly, at my age, most of the women you run into have so much baggage and shit going on that it's like, I'm not for carbon 14. I would not date at all. If not for carbon 14, I would not date at all. Okay, I get it. I own no stocks. Yes. Single and his boys are ready to jingle. Yeah. I hear there's a tremor going on in New York. Okay. I think. Dogecoin underwater. Yeah. Jim means they're old and wrinkled. They still work. It still works. There's still lead in my pencil. So since the start of the war, stocks, European aerospace and defense industries surged more than 50%. We are Russia's next target. Oh my God, these fucking people are Russia's next target. Are you serious? Yeah, it's better to pay them to leave. It's a non-peace dividend. Europeans' early edition, while the endgame phase of the war appears to be underway, money markets have been maybe mispricing this. Oh, you'll crush on me from Kansas City? Well, thank you. I appreciate it. The markets are pricing in a form of a peace dividend that can be seen in a retracement of the share prices of European defense companies, which have been handily outperformed for the last 2 to 3 years and have pulled back. They've been trying to make Russia a big deal for a long time. If it flies, floats, or fooks, it's cheaper to rent. Best pencil lead adjustable. We're BFFs with Russia. There will be no peace dividends on the Ukraine deal. That's what this guy says. He argued that because Russia's relationship with Europe has shifted, the outcome of the war will be Russian military power has secured an unreversed territorial change in Europe. There will be a huge incentive to improve European defense industrial capacity and continue arms procurement. I mean, a lot of people don't realize, like, the last 80 years is an abnormality in world politics, especially in Europe and Eurasia. I mean, Joe never called Vlad. Okay. There's never been this long of a peace in Europe. I mean, usually 20 years, 30 years tops would all there be, and then you would have another war between someone. There was constantly wars, border wars in Europe. If we're distracted by Russia, China is winning. That's right. He added, no peace dividend would be reflected in lower risk premiums. Morningstar called the market reaction to potential peace overdone. Let's see. Burbas 9048 says, I just turned 78. Hot damn, I made it. Good for you. Congratulations. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Beer Boss. Happy birthday to you. You missed mine, Jim. What? Where was it? What? I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see it, Richard. You're telling you another chat of yours I missed somewhere? Better to pay them to leave. I said better to pay them to leave. I pulled it up. Oh, still younger than... Oh, you think so? Come on. Yep. Happy birthday. Happy birthday. Are you saying I missed your birthday or I missed your chat? No, maybe I got it wrong. Thanks. Ukraine war has been a significant driver in the European defense sector. But what the market's overlooking right now is Ukraine war set about a series of structural drivers into the sector. Maybe YouTube blocked it. Is it the one that was it the one about they're cheaper to leave, pay them to leave? Because I said that and I saw it. Joe says Jim is 77. No, I am not 77 years old. I'm not even 67. I'm not even 57. Choosy is tripping balls harder than a normal night. Yeah, well. Don't take the brown acid. Stay away from the brown acid. An increase in NATO spending targets have been agreed by participating members that would not be unwound. Similarly, the restocking story remains intact. It's likely to take nations like Germany a decade at least to restock the weaponry. Oh, well, no problem, Burbos. Thanks again for everybody. For someone who lives alone, it means a lot. Well, I wish we could have been there with you to celebrate. To Beer Boss, many more. Many, many more. Yes, we're glad we're here with you. Hail! Happy birthday. Have a drink on me. Here's to many more. So, so we got all this stuff. What's more than predicated increase in European defense spending are not solely driven by the Ukraine war. The deep-rooted structural factors persist, long-standing underinvestment and ongoing strategic challenges from Russia, even with after the Ukraine settlement, and an imperative for European strategic autonomy. So, where is 52 guys? I'm a permanent member of the battered man shelter and proud one at that. Well, if they batter you, they better deep fry you. We are living in the best timeline despite all the doom. The light is coming. My body is over 102 years old. When Russia will honor any peace agreement remains highly uncertain. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens. Got this report from Newsweek saying the Trump administration is to radically reshape the U.S. military. Mentally battered, not physically. Proposed overhaul of the U.S. military would cut its number of regional headquarters and cull generals and admirals. Yay! Citing people familiar with the matter, the Washington Post reported that senior Pentagon officials were looking to downsize some of its military headquarters and shift the balance of power among its top brass. The Pentagon told Newsweek in a statement Tuesday it would not comment on rumored internal discussion. I was 17 when I joined. If implemented, the proposal would mean the biggest shakeup of the U.S. military for decades. The proposals also appear to be in keeping with the Trump administration's strategy to shift resources from the Middle East and Europe and to place more focus on the Western Hemisphere. As outlined by the National Security Strategy released earlier this month, senior Pentagon officials are preparing to reshape how the U.S. military is organized and commanded in a proposal that would be presented to Hexas by Joint Chiefs Chairman General Dan Raisin Kane. As Newsweek's maps show, the plan would reduce the number of combatant commands, the military's top operational headquarters, from 11 to 8. U.S. Central Command, European Command, and Africa Command would operate under U.S. International Command. Chinese strategy is pitting two enemies against each other. There's no beef or gain or anything between Russia and the U.S. Okay. Audrey, he said it during his birthday stream. I did, but I'm not going to repeat myself. I'm going to be mysterious. Richard Parker for 5. Thank you so much for the 5, Richard Parker. With that, we are now $5 closer. That puts us at $74. $74 away from a second additional hour of the show. And it's a really big show. It's a really big show. Thank you so much, Richard Parker. Meanwhile, Northern Command and Southern Command would oversee Latin America and the Caribbean, would be merged under a new headquarters called U.S. Americas Command, or AMERICOM. I like that. Yes. A little mystery is good. I know. I'm being mysterious tonight. The idea of a separate Arctic command reporting to AmeriCom has been mooted, but that option appears to have been dropped, it was reported. So this is what they're talking about doing. Northern Command, European Command, Central Command, Africa Command, Indo-Pacific Command. Yeah, why do we need all these? We don't need all these commands. The remaining combatant commands would include Indo-Pacific Command, Cyber Command, Space Command, Strategic Command, and Missile Command. The banks really want another war. Southcom used to be a blast. Muchos gracias, amigo. Transportation Command and Special Operations Command, according to the paper. The plans would also decrease the number of 4-star generals and admirals who report directly to Hegseth. They were also intended to speed decision-making and adaptation among military commanders. According to a defense official who told the paper, there was a decay in how the U.S. military commands and controls troops. Yeah, all those commands exist so we can have 4 stars. So yeah, decreasing them leads less 4 stars. Better. Mucho gusto betero. The Pentagon told Newsweek it would not comment on leaked documents that we cannot authenticate, especially because if you think about it, they need an AI command. Yeah. During World War II, we had 2 commands. We had European Command and we had Pacific Command. That was it. That's all we had. We had Europe and Pacific. That was it. And maybe 3. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there was 3. Maybe there was U.S. Maybe there was Central Command too, and then Europe. Whatever. I don't know. Maybe I'm making shit up. Pentagon told News we could not comment on leaked documents, and that we cannot authenticate, adding that everyone in the Defense Department was working to achieve the same goal under this administration. However, the plans align with Trump administration's national security strategy released this month, which has said seen as reinforcing a pivot away from Europe, the Middle East, and China towards Latin America and the Caribbean. Retired Vice Admiral Robert Moret told Newsweek that the security strategy's inherent criticism of the U.S.'s allies in Europe, contrasted with the strong embrace of Middle Eastern nation and outreach to Russia, could cause reverberations for years to come. Old generals need jobs. Yes. Could get interesting. Pornhub hit by massive security breach with 200 million users' data records and search history stolen in December. Not that. Moretz, a professor of practice at Syracuse University's Maxwell School of Citizenship and Public Affairs, said that the lack of concern and soft language regarding China and the impact on regional allies in the Pacific will likely diminish the U.S.'s ability to influence events in Far East and balance its global strategic risk. What people are saying. The Washington Post says senior Pentagon officials are preparing a plan to downgrade several of the U.S. military's major headquarters and shift the balance of power among its generals. The Pentagon told Newsweek in a statement, as a matter of Department of War policies, we will not comment on leaked documents and cannot authenticate and rumored internal discussions, as well as specifics of architectural discussion and pre-decisional matters. Beyond this, any insinuation that there is a divide within the department is completely false. Everyone in the department is working to achieve the same goal under this administration. Who owns Pornhub? I thought it was somebody. Excellent job of crawdadding, Jim. Well, thank you. I tried. Hegseth better leave commands alone. If they close down, those generals will make his life difficult. I don't know. Chuck Hagel, former sergeant that became a defense secretary, cast doubt on the wisdom of the proposals. You want commands that have the capability of heading off problems before they become big problems. So why don't we just have thousands of commands? Why don't we do that? Why don't we have every 20 feet is a new command? Then we can't have no problems. We need to find the leakers. This happens way too often. Retired Vice Admiral Robert Moret said, there will be reverberations for years to come since the NSS represents such a strong departure from decades of U.S. and allied strategy. Oh, whale. Oh, whale. Say when. The Pentagon has shared a few details with U.S. Congress so far, and lawmakers have responded by requiring the Defense Department to submit a detailed assessment of its costs, risks, and alliance implications. Search history blackmail, will that work? Maybe on some people, I don't know. It added that under the annual defense policy bill, funding to implement the changes would be withheld until at least 60 days after Congress receives a blueprint for the plans. All changes would need to be approval of Hegseth and President Trump and will be part of Pentagon's Unified Command Plan. Unified Command Plan. Hit the road, Sam. Get over hill, Bill. Don't make a toy, Roy. Get on the steak, Veek. This is from a paper called Aluri Baba. Aluri Baba. Pentagon prepares major military reorganization. Report claims. This is from The Independent. Hegseth is planning massive overhaul of U.S. military commands and to shrink the presence in Europe. Well, that's good news. We don't need Dallas' presence in Europe. Oh, look at this. Keir Steimer refuses to defend the BBC as Donald Trump files to go ahead with a $100 billion lawsuit. This was not the story that was supposed to be here, though. It's supposed to be a different story here. U.S. suspends technology deal with the UK. Dun, 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 dun. We leave Europe. The next day, Europe is gone. Europe's already gone, I think. Look at it. It's been invaded. It's been taken over. We might have to launch a new crusade to save Europe. The United States has suspended a technology deal it struck with Britain earlier this year, which was intended to boost ties in artificial intelligence. I mean, George Washington warned us about getting entangled in Europe's affairs. Just saying. It was intended to boost ties in artificial intelligence, quantum computing, and civil and nuclear engineering. But British officials keep fucking around and trying to sanction and penalize and fine. Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. I forgot about Poland and Hungary. Yeah, we've got to protect those two, Poland and Hungary. Can't we just, here's an idea. Can we build a wall around the good countries? Our Navy and Marines could blockade China, and Air Force and Army could march east from Europe, and by the time we get to China, they would be done. Richard, I would really appreciate it if you would send whatever you're smoking, all right? Send it to me at my P.O. Box. I really need to check out what that is. Sorry, Hong Kong. By the time we could support you, hail China. Hong Kong's already controlled by China. They took it over. No one said boo. The British gave it up, and the Chinese rolled in there. They already control Hong Kong. If roaches could convert to Islam, we're all done, or have they? Pretty much. Richard, China could throw people for weeks. Weeks. Although, Joe, I have seen some reporting, I'm not 100% sure on, that China has been over-exaggerating their population by in orders of hundreds of millions of people. That they're actually not, they're not even over 1 billion people anymore. They're under 800 million people. I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Apparently, Haagen-Dazs is biting back at Bobby. Okay. British officials on Monday confirmed the U.S. suspended the deal last week, adding President Trump's administration was pushing for Britain concessions in the area of trade outside of the tech partnership. I'm defected. You meant Taiwan. Well, we've had several reports come out that all the simulations they've run, the war game simulations that they've run, is that we lose Taiwan in a week. So I don't know. We don't have missiles. We don't have enough missiles to sustain any type of blockade or anything. We'd run out of missiles in a week to defend our ships. So I mean, unless we were going to start using, stealth bombers and actually dropping W-63s or W-84s. That's not gonna, yeah. We're not gonna be able to hold them off. China shouldn't have thrown all those babies off the roof. They won't use nukes. Half of them don't work, and Putin and Xi both have kids like Trump. I'm saying we would have to use nukes to stop China from taking Taiwan. All right, that's my opinion. Jim, that may be so, but they have more troops than we have missiles to remove them. No, I'm saying we don't have missiles. No. You're talking about nuclear missiles? No. We have plenty to remove their troops. No, I'm saying we don't have the missile packs to defend the ships to perform a right blockade to keep them from taking Taiwan. Now, Taiwan can make it messy for them, though. If we give Taiwan what they need, Taiwan can make it extremely messy for them to try to land anyone on the island. There's only certain routes that they can take to actually get tanks and stuff onto the island. So Taiwan will be able to hold their own, I think. Why? Because we protect them, fund NATO, and still have to pay them rent for bases. China, inferior steel, cement, and stats. Okay. U.S. officials were becoming increasingly frustrated with Britain's lack of willingness to address so-called non-tariff barriers, including rules and regulations governing food and industrial goods. Our special relationship with the U.S. remains strong, and the U.K. is firmly committed to ensuring the tech prosperity deal delivers opportunity for hardworking people in both countries. The White House did not immediately respond to Reuters' request for comment, but both countries agreed to the tech prosperity deal over artificial intelligence, quantum computing, civil nuclear energy during Trump's visit to Britain in September. They have those hypersonics, and we've got to give them a hypercolonic. So there's that. And then this is from the Register. It says U.S. freezes $42 billion trade pact over digital tax row. Yes, this is strictly because of the taxes that that they're placing on like X and other thing. They're trying to hit them, the EU, and but the EU is not Britain, but Britain is also fucking around telling people to silence shit, trying to fine people for not silencing people. And so that's what this is all about. U.S. halts trade deal. U.S. pauses implementation of $40 billion, blah, 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 blah. Why is this not working? There we go. U.S. suspends technology deal with Britain. Financial Times reports. There's that. This just in, but I don't know how this just in is. It's very expensive to have troops overseas. Jim, we barely have 1 million in service. They have everyone in the country as the body reserves. No. I'm saying, okay. Are you talking about if we were to do a first strike, it's not even what. Anyway, I don't know why we're talking about this stuff. The Brits in Iraq were awesome. Yes, they were. The Brits are fine. It's just their government sucks. The British people are great. The ones that are actually British. Their government sucks balls. U.S. obliterates 3 more Venezuelan drug boats just hours after President Trump designates fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction. It's a numbers game. I'm not talking nukes. I'm saying it's the only way we would be able to do anything is if we were able to do a first strike. That's the only way. We would have to have stealth bombers with gravity. Taiwan without the chip fabs are useless. Yeah, well, it's the only place they exist. So if China destroys the chip fabs, they get nothing. What do they want? That's the reason China wants. That's the only reason China wants Taiwan is for the chip fab. If it wasn't for the chip fab, they wouldn't give a shit about Taiwan. What would they care? U.S. United States Southern Command. Southern man, we don't know no hand. Blowing up boats is another way. Southern man. A total of 8 narco-terrorists were killed in the strikes. Intelligence confirmed that the vessels were transiting along a known narco-trafficking route in the Eastern Pacific and were engaged in narco-trafficking. Current estimates is Mali could take Falklands and UK would need to help to retake it. They let their military and equipment slide. Yeah, I think they don't have any people actually on the island anymore. Evacuate the smart ones first. Well, that's the plan. They were trying to. We should just move everything and everybody in Taiwan to Texas and Arizona. Well, China has exaggerated their power for American consumption for the stupids here in America to get scared and mandate we kiss their ass. Neil Young is a sniveling libtard. That's why I changed the words. I've got a question. How does Kelly know it's cocaine and not fentanyl? You like the radio announcer voice? I try to do it sometimes, but it hurts my throat to do it. Jim tells you the news is cooler than you are because Paul Simon and Bob Dylan didn't have 50 ways to have answer blowing in their name. What? Square one here. I don't know what you're talking about. I wholly agree, Wizard. It was done on purpose, though. Video from the strike show massive explosions on each boat, turning them into burning piles of rubble. Watch below. Hello, and the Taiwan is irrelevant. Here we go, folks. And they're off, racing along the side, and it's a big old explosion. Look at it fly, folks. Drugs everywhere. Body bar. That's just crazy, crazy, crazy. Here's number 2, folks. It's burning off live. And here's another boat, folks. Looks like they're getting a square grouper all packed up in the center here. And we're going to go. Another strike leads to a massive explosion. Burning wreckage everywhere along with drugs. Yes, I bet that sucked. Oh, strike 3. You're out of here. On December 15th, at the direction of the Secretary of War, Pete Hegseth, Joint Task Force Southern Spear conducted lethal kinetic strikes on 3 vessels operated by the designated terrorist organization in international waters. Intelligence confirmed that the vessels were transiting along a known narco-trafficking route in the Eastern Pacific and were engaged in narco-trafficking. A total of 8 male narco-terrorists were killed during these actions, 3 in the first vessel, 2 in the second, and 3 in the third. Venezuelan boats don't operate in the Pacific. Those could be Colombian boats or wonder what the classifieds look like. Yes. Do the idiots getting on boats have TVs or asked where their compadres are? The only thing a country should get from foreign countries is for the most luxurious goods and anything not important for daily living. Definitely Colombian, yeah. Hey, Jim, are you going to get the AI voice response for Super Chats like Nick? Seems up your alley. I tried. I'm not a big enough channel to get them right now. They only give them to, like, bigger channels. They're supposed to be coming online for, for everyone to get soon. They've been saying it for months. But, not a single fishing pole or net was on any of the boats. I can already hear Rand Paul's crocodile tears pitter-pattering as they fall upon the floor for those poor, innocent drug smugglers and traffickers. That's a feature for big channels, yes. Very big channels, bigger than me. Trump signed an executive order earlier on Monday to designate fentanyl as a weapon of mass destruction and empower his administration to take the concentrated, large-scale terror attacks by organized adversaries. Now we know they have the most sophisticated fishing equipment on the planet. Barnes must be apoplectic. If I were Venezuelan, I would be figuring out how to program my Roomba to drive my boat. Well, they do have autopilot on boats that would work. I don't know why you wouldn't just do that. Jim, you'll get there, brother. You're almost at 1800. I know. That channel is big, Jim. This will likely be used to justify the defense of America against drug cartels further, as the order directs the Secretary of War and the Secretary of Homeland Security to update all directives regarding the armed forces' response to chemical incidents in the homeland to include the threat of illicit fentanyl. I am not a crook. This comes as War Secretary Pete Hegseth and Secretary of State Marco Rubio reportedly plan to brief lawmakers this week on the strikes. Secretaries Hegseth and Marco Rubio will brief senators on Tuesday about the strikes against the alleged drug boats in the Caribbean. I'm gonna try to sound like Dan Aykroyd when he used to do Weekend Update on Saturday Night Live. Let's see if I can do that. The administration has said that these strikes on alleged drug-carrying boats are to protect the homeland from drugs crossing into the U.S. However, some senators on both sides said, Jane, what a slut. They want to get more clarity on these strikes and the legal justification for it. Go, Jim Dandy. Go, Jim Dandy. Go. Well, I think it's $50 a month for Super Grok. Well within your budget. Fuck, it's only half an hour. I do pay for that. It was $480 for the year. $480 for the year. The Bears. It's a blackened grouper party. Yes. I do pay for the Super Grok. Yeah. And you have to pay that now. You have to pay that now to live stream on X. You can't live stream on X if you don't pay that. Everything is alleged. Yeah, they're pushing it all over the ledge. So far, there's been more than 20 publicly known strikes on drug-carrying boats, killing more than 80 narco-terrorists. Recently, there were reports about a U.S. issuing a second strike on survivors, which was all a bunch of bullshit. Senator Kristen Gillibrand, who sits on the Armed Services and Intelligence Committee, said last week that the video should be made public. This also comes after Democrat lawmakers, demon rat lawmakers, and they won't voice E for you? No. So you get spicy Annie AI waifu? I think so. I don't know. I don't use any of that stuff. On November 29th report from Washington Post attempted to corroborate claims that the strikes were illegal, citing anonymous sources who said that Hegseth ordered troops to kill everybody. He said, kill them all. Let God sort them out. Fun fact, Kill 'Em All, Metallica's first studio album, was originally known Metal Up Your Ass. To kill survivors clinging to the wreckage of a ship in the Caribbean Sea, Rep. Seth Crybaby Moulton, who looks like a younger Crybaby Adam Kinzinger, was blatantly illegal, adding, mark my words, it may take some time, but Americans will be prosecuted for this, either as a war crime or outright murder. Hegseth responded to the firestorm of fabricated inflammatory and derogatory reporting on Friday, maintaining that the actions were lawful and aligned with stated intention of the strikes to be lethal kinetic strikes. Tune in Saturday at 25.47 megahertz. Our current operations in the Caribbean are lawful under both U.S. and international law, with all actions in compliance with the law of armed conflict, and approved by the best military and civilian lawyers up and down the chain of command. Paul Harvey, the rest of the story. Hegseth should just say the fishing equipment was so faulty it caused 2 explosions. Yes. As the Gateway Pundit reported, despite these attacks, the U.S. is continuing strikes on drug boats in the Caribbean, executing the 22nd strike on December 4th, killing nearly 100 designated foreign terrorist narco traffickers as of December. We just happened to be watching at the time. Critter Sitter says, good to see you. Glad to get here and hear Jim doing voices. I'm always doing voices. They almost sound like the real person. Well, let me look here. Or Conrad's son, suspicious. If I were Elon, I would let everybody use live stream and collect all super chats until my yearly fee was paid. There's no super chats on X. They don't have any. They should have a feature on X. They have 0. They should have some kind of feature. I guess they have subscriptions and stuff, but I don't know. So. And Breitbart just says Operation Southern Spear, U.S. military strikes 3 drug trafficking boats in the Eastern Pacific. So it's probably Colombian, we said. Probably Colombian. Well, everybody, it's been an extra hour and, a little more than an hour. If you're not going to rebut MSM lies, why would you just repeat them? That's what I got so upset about Joe tonight. He read off Fannie Fair's lies and cussed out Susie like he was reading the Bible. What are you talking about, me? I'm not repeating it. What are you talking about? I'm reading the news. I read between the lines. What are you talking about? Yes. It's about that time, Neurodivergent One. Find a place to park us. Thank everybody who was here tonight. All right. And let you all know, I'll be back Wednesday night for another really, really good show. And I'm going to send you, I don't know where to send you tonight, so I just picked a random thing. So, well, it wasn't that fast. It was, 3 hours and 40 minutes. We only got 1 extra hour. Oh, damn, it's that time again. It is. Thanks to Jim and Bella. I want to thank everybody who was here. He says, Senor John says, I've been up 24 hours drinking for 12 hours. Peace. Well, really big show. Average Joe. Good night, everybody. Yes. Bye-bye. Average Joe. Wow.